Hello. Okay, you guys can hear me. All right. If you know me, you know me. I'm always having these technical difficulties. Okay, so last night, I made my normal appearance on the panel of the Friday night show. It was the 7th episode, hosted by the Let's Talk with JVJ channel, also the JVJ network, hosted by the same person. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. And I'm going to jump on camera in a minute. So last night was the 7th episode of the Friday night show. Basically, the show goes, the host shows us 3 kind of like short clips. They're kind of like TikTok clips or like YouTube short clips. And he presents the panel a question, and the panel answers the question. And I just want to cover the show, re-go over it, and just talk about what was discussed. Some controversial conversations and topics, but I think they're conversations that definitely need to be had. I think there was some good discussion. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. While I finish my very few final touches, I'm just going to play a short 1-minute video that I made about love, which is semi-related to the topic, but it's just going to help me finish my final touches to getting on camera, and then I'll be right with you guys. Money, materialism, status, lifestyle, like I said, superficial, just not an actual like life partner, just support, family, connection, chemistry. Oh, how about this one? Love. Whoa. I've never heard people talk about love when they talk about relationships. I mean, what does that mean? That's crazy. Like, literally, I've watched so much of this content, and I never hear the word love, ever. These people are looking for relationships as, like, these types of people see relationships as a, just like a stepping stool, just some type of asset, just like a way, like, how can I use you? Okay, there we go. That was that. So now I'm gonna bring up the video. See, how has y'all's weekend been so far? It's kind of it's not really rainy here, but it looks like it's gonna rain any minute. We've been getting a lot of rain lately. All right, let me start this from the beginning. And again, I will jump on camera in a minute. All right, let's see. Spirituality is all, but fallen by the wayside in terms of that. I think I understand what you mean, but do you care to explain further? Do you mean like spirituality is kind of something that society is lacking, and therefore we're all kind of lost, and stuck in this materialistic kind of shallow lifestyles, and which leads to incompatible relationships and such. I'm not sure if that's kind of what you mean there. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here, oh, I'm not showing you guys, sorry, my bad. Found you from Amber Heard birthday stream or something, haha. Was good to see someone remember to call her out. Was a funny little thing, keep up the good ideas. Thank you, I appreciate that. And yeah, it's just crazy when I keep talking to people and people haven't watched the trial and it's been a year later, and it really is astounding how many people say that they think Johnny Depp was abusing her and she basically got like an unfair trial. And oh man, it just triggers me so much because don't get me started with that. But I do appreciate you letting me know that you appreciated that too, and keep calling that bitch out. Okay, so here is the first video that was presented to the panel, which kind of started the line of questioning, which led to the discussion. So let's start the video here.
Got by two guys. It was very weird though. Like there was a moment where I was confused because I was riding one of them and then the other one was in the back of me.
And if you could let me know if you can hear the video okay too. Thanks.
And then like the dick slipped out and he grabbed his dick and put it back inside for me.
I'm telling you now, I think you're gay. I don't give a who you is or how you feel about it. I think you're gay.
And I was so confused. I was like, wait, are y'all gay?
Why are you gay?
So the other nigga put the dick in?
Yeah.
I'm smiling, but it ain't funny.
It was very interesting. And then there was a point that he tried to put his dick inside my vagina at the same time as the other guy is having his dick.
It's an evil world we live in.
I was like, wait.
Try to put his dick while the other dick was in you already.
Yeah, they try to put two dicks in my vagina. I'm
Feeling devious.
You see that?
I'm feeling this.
That's two franks in a bun?
I got two weenies in my buns.
I'm like, yo, my vagina's not that big, bro. That hurts.
So you didn't like that for you?
One more time.
I got by two guys. It was very weird though. Like there was a moment where I was confused because I was riding one of them and then the other one was in the back of me and then like the dick slipped out and he grabbed his dick and put it back inside for me.
I'm telling you now, I think you're gay. I don't give a who you is or how you feel about it. I think you're gay.
And I was so confused. I was like, wait, are y'all gay?
Why are you gay?
So the other nigga put the dick in?
Yeah.
I'm smiling, but it ain't funny.
It was very interesting. And then there was a point that he tried to put his dick inside my vagina at the same time as the other guy is having his dick.
It's an evil world we live in.
I was like, wait.
Try to put his dick while the other dick was in you already.
Yeah, they try to put two dicks in my vagina. I'm
Feeling devious.
You see that?
I'm feeling this.
That's two franks in a bun?
I got two weenies in my buns.
I'm like, yo, my vagina's not that big, bro. That hurts.
So you didn't like that for you?
All right. Now that we heard that twice, make sure we heard that correct the first time. The question on the board is, did she like it? You'll start off with my girl, Miss Embrace the Grace first. Do you think that she liked that experience?
Yeah. I think she liked it.
Okay, so yeah, this is the video that is going to start the discussion. Thanks for letting me know the video audio is perfect. Okay, yes, very interesting video, right? So this is kind of this interesting video is what led to some interesting and more serious topics. More so about the two dicks part. So yeah, so the first question he asked is, did she like it? And if you want to put in the comments too what you think. Do you think that she liked it? Based on what she said? I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what I think afterwards, because I actually rethought about the question and I kind of have like a slightly different answer now, but I'll play what their answers was and then I'll answer mine again.
Because she had like a bragging connotation, and the fact that you're even putting your business out like that is crazy. I mean, I'm as freaky as the next bitch, but I keep my shit on the low. You don't put that on blast for the whole YouTube to see it. So yeah, she liked it, and she wanted to put it out there to let people know that she liked it.
All right. Next up, we going to my other Grace, Miss Grace Neary. Do you think she liked it? And tell me why you think whichever way you think it.
I think she likes the attention, and I think it's sad to boast on something like this, like for any female. Like, it's just demoralizing, and you don't even realize it. Like, yeah.
2 weenies in her butt. All right, well, next up, we're going to my boy Smitty. I'm sorry, Mustard Murdoch. Do you think that she enjoyed that, and why either way?
Sheesh, man. All right, so, man. All right, so, as a dude who actually, I've been around women like this, just from years of just being out in life. I've heard stories. Bro, what I heard right there, and I ain't even getting all therapeutic on the shit, but that sound like a chick that, in some form of fashion, ever since she was a little girl, she's gone through like pain and shit, and humiliation in some form of fashion. And it's wild because you got some people that, when they get older, they actually, as odd as it sounds, they take those demoralizing, humiliating situations and they turn them into like orgasms. And so that's what I was hearing more than anything was an individual that is just simply, truly used to being effed over, being dogged, being talked to any kind of way, having hands put on her. She's accustomed to that shit. And in her mind, in her world, that shit's normal. That ain't nothing out of the ordinary. And last but not least, we got to remember, this is also, kind of what the Grace next to me was saying. The whole, like, why would you put your business out there? That's exactly what people do. See, that's what social media has done. You got to remember that, Grace. Social media has made it to where, like, I see all kinds of crazy stuff, like people with terrible breakups and folks getting kicked out and evicted. Somebody in a hospital for something wild, and it's like, I don't know. I was just always raised to land it right. I was always raised like, you supposed to always show the best of you. You like just coming out the door. I don't care if I'm just going to the grocery store. I may not be all decked out in my outfit, but I'm gonna make sure my face is washed and my hair is brushed and my breath is fresh, all of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna just make sure I present myself a certain way. And unfortunately, we have gotten to the point as people, I ain't even just someone like just people. We have gotten to the point where we just put everything out there because people now find social media to be like the place to go to get their answers and or gratification. So I digress. My mic is muted.
All right. I like that, man. Attention is a hell of a drug. Very apparent nowadays. Miss Jane Gypsy, why she?
Before I give my answer, so I kind of do agree with some of what he says there, and I do definitely think that people put way too much stuff on social media, but I mean, like, we're like the guinea pigs of social media, and I think a lot of that is really sad because it just shows how lonely people are. And a lot of the times it's like people feel like they have no one to talk to, so they kind of put stuff on social media just like hoping for some kind of attention. And I don't mean that in like a narcissistic way. Sometimes it's definitely like that, but I think lots of times it's just like people are so lonely and depressed, they like will use social media kind of as like a last attempt as a call for help. Um, so I agree with that, but I also kind of agreed with him that she kind of does seem like someone who's just kind of like so talking about this is so nonchalantly. Seems like someone who may have been through some sort of like trauma where now it's just like kind of normalized to them. And there were some terms that she used that I'll bring up in my statement or my reply in the video, but there were some terms like she said he grabbed it and like put it back in me. And she was like, ow, that hurt. Like my vagina's not that big. Kind of just like implying that maybe she didn't like want him to do that or like didn't consent to that. I'm not calling it like rape, but what was the other thing she said? She said something else, but it was basically just kind of like, I don't know. Here, I'll let you guys listen to my answer. And I'll get back to it. But this isn't really what we're talking about for the rest of the stream. But this is kind of interesting to just go over. So I just figured I'd talk about it real quick at the beginning.
You over there knocking cats out the way and knocking over mics and stuff.
Oh, my feedback. It's way too high.
Is your feedback or your feet? Your feet.
Okay. Or my gain, my bad. My gain. Okay. So at first I thought I was wondering if she was even telling the truth. Like I was thinking, like, what is the context? Who is asking her these questions?
That's a regular old street interview.
Okay. So to me, it seems like maybe some people know about this happened and she was trying to like start a rumor about these guys being gay. Like maybe she's trying to like pull something, you know what I mean? Like try to like start some rumor about these guys. But after hearing Smitty talk to you, like it almost sounds like she's looking for some kind of like pity, like not necessarily on purpose, but it's like she's just like exposing to the world like how fucked up kind of her life is, and it's almost like a subconscious like cry for help a little bit, like this is how fucked up my life is, and you know, is anybody gonna care? Probably not, but you know, it was just how she worded it, like ow, like that hurts, like I can't fit like two dicks in there, like it was just like, and how she kind of worded it, like he took it out and then like put it back in her, like she was kind of like insinuating like forceful things like that she didn't agree to. Like I feel like it was, yeah.
All right, that was interesting right there, Jane. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but we got Miss Foxy Moon up in the building. Jane, get that camera right, and we have my girl Miss Lena in the building also. So I'm gonna start off with Miss Foxy. Let them know where they can find you at. And did you see the video?
Yes, I saw the video.
Okay, yeah. Let them know where to find you at, and then you think she liked it.
You guys can find me at Foxy Moon Premieres on Wednesdays, about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on Inside Foxy's Mind, which is a random whenever it felt good.
And why?
Because that's probably something that she liked. It felt good to her. So, yeah.
All right. Look, I had to start us off on some weird stuff. Next up, we got my girl Miss Lena. Let them know what's up, girl. And same question: did she like it and why?
She definitely liked it, because if she didn't like it, she would have stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really weird. I questioned everybody involved. I don't understand why did they try to both penetrate her in the same spot at the same time. That is disgusting. But okay, I guess they're all three adults. They're not hurting anybody, but it's a no for me.
A no for you. So one whole, one thing at a time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know that. Follow-up question on this one for the whole panel. Why does it seem like there's such a big stigma for a man to be gay, but it's perfectly accepted for a woman to be gay? Miss Embrace the Grace, go ahead.
I'm going to be a little biased on this, but it seems more natural with two women, but with two men, It's just, it doesn't wrap well around my head. I mean, I'm not saying either of them is right, but it's
Okay, hold on. So, I was just rewatching it. So I actually didn't notice at the very end when the TV reporter asked her, like, so you didn't like it? She starts laughing. It's kind of like seeming like she's like embarrassed because she did like it, even though she was like, it was basically like two guys being gay or whatever, which I guess is what led the host to ask this follow-up question, which is why is female basically why are lesbians more socially accepted in society than gay couples. So yeah, but yeah, on that last one, just the real finish, top it off, she said she was like confused and he put it back in her and it hurt. So it just seemed kind of like she was a little confused by it, but then at the end she was like laughing about it, like she liked it. So yeah, I do think she liked it, but yeah, I mean, she's talking about it. It's just it's just kind of weird. But all right. So, and I promise I'm about to jump on camera in like a minute. I'm almost done. So let's get to now, which is the main subject of the night. And hear their responses to why are female lesbian couples more socially acceptable than gay male couples in society.
seems like two women is more acceptable because, you know, in a lot of countries you have non-monogamous relationships. You have the poly, whereas two men, it's not masculine. It's so feminine. That's why.
The poly thing is an interesting point that I haven't thought of before. But in those relationships, like in Islam, I think like some men can have up to 4 wives, and like in Mormon culture too, you can have multiple wives. But the thing is, in those relationships, the women aren't dating each other. It's the man has his own individual relationship with each woman, but it's not like the women are having their own relationships within, you know, that marriage too. It's just each woman with the man separate.
Why I think it is.
Okay. Miss Jane Gypsy, are you there, girl?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Why do you think it's socially acceptable for women to be gay but not men?
I think it's because men make a bigger fuss about it than, like, men make a bigger fuss about gay guys being together than women make a fuss about lesbian women being together. Personally, like, I don't see like gay, like, you guys are gonna think this is weird, but I don't see like, not, well, there are some very feminine gay men, obviously, but there are some very masculine gay men too. And there are some like masculine gay relationships where like I could see it kind of being like a turn on almost. Like if there's like two really hot guys with like two really good bodies, and they're kind of, I don't know, like I could see that being like kind of. So I don't know if you guys have watched the TV show Shameless, but I just think of like Ian, the brother from Shameless. When I talk about like masculine gay couples and gay men, that's what I think of, like Ian from Shameless. But yeah, I don't think it's acceptable because guys, masculine men feel offended by it. It makes them feel uncomfortable more so than two women do.
So you think it's like really it's mainly the guys that make it socially awkward for men to be gay, not the women?
Yeah. Like I think like two lesbians make women less uncomfortable than two gay men make men uncomfortable.
Okay. Next up, Miss Foxy Moon. Why do you think it's socially more acceptable for two women to be gay than it is for two men to be gay?
It's obvious because it's less threatening to see two women kissing. Most men like to see that in a sexual atmosphere. And so, yeah, I think that's why.
All right. I see.
I'm just curious, like, what is threatening about two men kissing. Does anybody, like, can anybody explain, even if you don't agree with it, can anybody explain, like, that reasoning or the logic behind that way of thinking? Because I just don't understand, like, what's threatening about it. Do they think, like, the gay guys are gonna, like, come after them or assault them or something? I just don't know what's threatening about it.
Mr. Mustard Man over there was grinning for a second, so I know he got something good for me. And shout out to Primal Studies up in the building. But Mr. Mustard Man,
What's up?
why is it socially? Why is it socially? You know the question. Why is it socially okay for women to be gay but not men?
All right, and you can just call me Murdoch. Just call me Murdoch.
Yeah, you ain't Matt Murdoch.
Do you mean Alex Murdoch, or are you talking about someone else?
Look, let's just be real. I do share the sentiment in which Grace up top was talking about. Look, the fact is, nobody wants to hear Ron and John going, yeah, feels good. Like that, bro. Like, no, it's nothing about that appealing in any form of fashion. See, look, I'm going to just say it how it is for real. The fact is, even though it's not right, because it's still considered under the laws of sin, the whole nine, but like, there is a certain amount of like elegance that comes with seeing two. It's like it's the way women go about that whole process. Like the whole mustache to mustache, beard to beard, that ain't cool. That ain't, no, man. Nah. That's not what folks want to see. I'm just being honest. Like, so it's like, either way that I look at it, I just see it as like this, to land it. When it is two women, they actually like truly like engage each other. They actually really do stuff to like please each other.
I have no idea what he means by that. Maybe he's like thinking like they do stuff that please each other because that's what he does to women. So he can't relate to it because I didn't get that part.
Shut up, Jay. I'm trying to be, you asked the question, Nick. All right. Dudes, they just ramming shit and punching each other, and it's just not something that people want to see. That's why it's so egregious anywhere you go throughout the world. You know what I mean? Like, so that's really all I gotta say about that. Other than that, I really don't know what to say about that, because I just know I'd rather see two women, damn it. Look, I said it. I'd rather see two women. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Shit.
Right.
Rather see two women.
All right. Miss Grace Neary, why is it socially acceptable for two women to be gay but not men? Shut up, Biggie.
I think society as a whole, men and women both, are willing to overlook things that women do that aren't okay because of just how women look. And men, like women, are less likely to call other women out than men are. Men are more willing to call each other out on their crap. That's what I think.
All right. And I like that. I like that. We got Miss.
Call each other out on what? What are we supposed to be calling gay people out on? Like, yo, bitch, you're not supposed to be attracted to that woman. What's wrong with you? Could you imagine? Like, what the fuck?
Lena back, nigga. We lost her, but we found her. All right, Miss Lena. The question on the table is, let me say it again, because somebody might have came in here and don't know what we're talking
women
about.
Stay with the group, Lena. Stay with the group.
Why is it socially acceptable for two women to be gay but not two men?
First, I had to say I like Smitty's comment was funny. He's like, those two beards. It just made me think of Biggie line when he said it don't mix like two dicks and no bitch. I don't know why I thought of that.
I like that.
However, I believe one reason why it's socially acceptable because women are more likely to maintain their femininity. You do have your butches, but most, I don't know, lesbians to me are still feminine. Even some of them that's kind of butchy. They're not. Sometimes you have some that's in between that seems less threatening to women and men, like Ellen DeGeneres or in between, kind of how Brad is. Someone in between is still kind of, you see them as being slightly masculine, but you also see them kind of feminine as well.
Like, what is threatening about a feminine gay man to men? What do men find threatening about a feminine acting gay man? Like, shouldn't they like that because it's like now they don't have to compete with this guy for women and stuff? You know, if you're going by like the red pill standards where guys basically behave and act on all their like prehistoric biological instincts. I don't know. Okay.
Also with men, I think gay guys normally, it's two things that's going on with them. Me personally, when they're feminine, you either get the ones that are feminine and they seem like, oh yeah, we're cool, you know, they hang out with the girls or whatever, or you get some that's really sassy and it can be messy. So I think that can be a problem. And then the ones that are masculine, a lot of times sometimes you won't even know, they're more quiet into themselves. And a lot of times too, I think gay males are more vocal about being gay, more in your face. We're queer, we're here. Like, you know, I understand it. They have a right to voice their opinion, have rights, and their love matters and should be out loud too, like, you know, like straight people. But I think sometimes can become a little bit too over the top or a little bit too offensive, or am I wrong?
Yeah, people go over the top with it for sure. But my argument is always like people go over the top with everything. You know, we have the Taliban went over the top with Islam. We have like freaking Lori Vallow going over the top with the LDS church and all that. We have these radical feminists out here that hate men. They're over the top. It's just like every single group, religion, organization, political movement, there's always going to be extremists. So I just don't think we should allow, or we should move away from defining these extremists as like the group that they think they're representing. Like, we shouldn't allow the extremists to represent the groups that they consider themselves a part of, because they are, in most cases, a very small minority of that group.
It's your answer, you know. It doesn't matter either way.
Like, I have no problem in general with them, but you do have your ones that can be aggressive, kind of hateful towards women, and you have some who are just, you know, you
females?
No, just women in general. I've seen some that are sassy and they have a hatred towards women sometimes, but not all. I'm not saying that, you know, but I'm just saying there's ones that's like that, that's associated with it.
Hey, real quick, not even Lena, you know what that is? Because I've actually experienced that myself on the opposite end.
Mm-hmm.
I've come across some like butch chicks with the whole, like, they wear the Tim boots and all of that. They UPS drivers and all that other shit. You know what? They be real hostile towards dudes like myself because they know. Let me just say it. They say to themselves, if only I had your D, I'd be straight. Do you see what I'm saying? So those dudes that's like coming at you that way, believe it or not, it really is like you were actually born one. That's what that is. Because I've gotten the same thing on the opposite end. Like, you actually got a D and some B's. You know what I mean? Like, so don't even trip off of that. Yeah, they just jealous because of how you were naturally born with your chromosomes. Just had to throw that in there. I digress. My mic is muted.
And then another thing I feel too, with two women, let's say one of them is butch. Men don't always look at two lesbians as like a wash. Sometimes they look like, oh, I might have a chance. Is she like a woman that look like a man? Maybe she might look like a man. So I don't think men are completely looking at it all like it's a loss. as opposed to a gay man. A gay man, a lot of women look at him like, you see the perfect guy and he's gay, like, dang, we lost one. We think that way. Like, dang, he would have been a perfect boyfriend.
Yeah, Elena, for real, love.
Mhm.
What I've noticed on that whole spectrum is that I know a lot of, like, even the ones that's like butch. I know quite a few so-called butch, straight, hardcore. Look at the brat. I've come across females who claim that life, but they still want to Now think about it. Most lesbian couples, they got a strap on. They still desire what it is that we have. I don't know.
I think I say this later, but that's pretty simple to explain. Like, they're attracted to women, but their anatomy still functions the same. So like, what feels good to a vagina feels good to any vagina, but you're attracted to people without vaginas. So you know that's why you get women with strap-ons to stimulate the feeling of a penis, but like in actuality, lesbians aren't attracted to penises. In most cases, a lot of gay people are bi too, but there are just I've met people where it's like they're 100% gay. Like they've tried to be straight, you know, because a lot of gay people really don't want to be gay. It's not easy to be gay. Their partners are limited. They sometimes are ousted from society, their family, their friends. It can be hard to be gay. So like, it's not like they choose it, guys. I'm not saying they don't love themselves and love being gay, but like, it's not an easy thing. It's not like people are willingly being gay. It's a crazy idea. You're attracted to who you're attracted to. You really can't change that.
Know too many gay men couples, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know too many, period. But I'm just assuming. I'm thinking in my head. I don't think too many gay couple men got fifis, you know, like fake vaginas, you know, that they play with. Nah, they are into what they're into. So the dudes that's usually gay, they really just get it. Females, they'll play both sides of the fence in a heartbeat. They'll play both. I'm telling you, I've come across some of them that I'm shocked that your old strong ass you old Queen Latifah from Set It Off ass trying to hit on me. Nah.
Because of what feels good, like autonomously, like on your body. It's like they're attracted to females, but your body still gets pleasure the same way like a regular female would. But they're attracted to females, so that's why they wear like strap-ons.
I just look at it like, you know damn well, deep down inside, you want me deep down inside.
Lots of lesbians are bi. Lots of lesbians are bi, but some lesbians really are like repulsed by penises. But a lot.
It's not the dick they're repulsed by. It's the man himself they're repulsed by because they can't be him.
Okay. Yeah. They might be jealous of you for being a man, but like sexually, they're probably not romantically like attracted.
Sometimes I feel like if they just had the right one, I don't think they would be gay anymore.
All it takes is that one good dick. That one good dick to get it right.
I agree with that.
Try. Lots of them try. They do.
No, it ain't no true. No. But you got to think though, Jane. Who are the dudes that they are letting have that chance? And 9 times out of 10, it's that weak little. It's that weak nigga, man. Look, yep. I promise you, they not letting that right ox come up in there with that oxtail. I promise.
Where is he getting this idea from? Like, are there stats behind this or something? Like, I swear, it's just like some guys, like, feel like lesbian are like offended by lesbians because it's like, what? You're not attracted to me? What? And it's just like, it doesn't compute to their like male ego brains. Of course, not all guys, but certain ones. And I'm almost ready. I'm going to be on in like 1 minute. Gay people like really like would do anything to not be gay. They're like this sucks because their partners are limited. They're obviously like isolated in society. This has been something. It's just been a natural thing since the dawn of.
Then why do they like protest so much and have a whole month in the summertime and they march? See them niggas.
Just because. Because that's who they are. Oh my god, my point just flew right over his head. that's how they are. Like that's just how they naturally are. So of course they're gonna protest for their rights and their freedoms and themselves, who they are.
It's down DC all the time.
Well, because of how they're
I'm just trying to
treated.
figure that part out.
Well, believe it or not, they don't have a lot of, like, their rights are limited sometimes. I forget, it's like a few states that don't even allow them to adopt.
Yeah.
So I can understand where they're coming from. And discrimination, like in the workforce, someone's gay, we don't want to work with them, they're not hired. Some people to me are effeminate naturally, even if they're gay, like they're not trying to be, they just couldn't hide it. I don't have a
I will say this, Lena. There are laws in the books that you can't discriminate against anybody off of race, gender, or sex, or sexual orientation. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's true. But some states, I forgot, I don't know if it's still in the books, but they don't allow them to.
That's federal law.
I think there's like.
I think that's more like the private business thing. Like, you know, if you don't want to make the cake for the gay couple thing, you know, type, you know.
I think there's certain marriage benefits that gay people in certain states aren't allowed to file for. I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but I know that was at one point.
Oh, really?
Well, look, y'all, we can do some research into that. My boy Defno's in the back, but he already know he can bring himself up when he gets ready. Look, y'all, I mainly asked that question and showed that video for a reason. All right, there's always a reason to the madness, or method, or something. I don't know what they said. But,
method to the madness.
The method to the madness, y'all. And
there you go.
The method to the madness was this.
I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm a man of God. I can't do this. I love those people. I pray for them. I would never do anything to hurt them or condemn them. But men are not supposed to dress like women. I'm not going to go along with that. It's time to stand up and be a man of God. A man of God. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm a man of God. I can't do this. I love those people. I pray for them. I would never do anything to hurt them or condemn them. But men are not supposed to dress like women. I'm not going to go along with that. It's time to stand up and be a man of God. A man of God.
All right. Well, now
I don't know about that bow tie. I'm just kidding.
All right, look, man, we got my boy Def Note up in the building. He missed the last one, so I ain't gonna ask him about it. But since he is new up in here, he's gonna get the first word on this one. But Def Note, do you want to tell him anything before you answer the question I have for you?
No, I ain't really got nothing, man. I'm just gonna say, you know what I'm saying? Welcome back to episode 7 of the Friday Night Show. Yes, sir.
Well, y'all, we did 7 of these things, man. It's amazing, man. I thought everybody would have quit by 2. But either way, though, the question on the table: if we live in a society, and y'all, this is a long one, so make sure y'all listen to this because I'm gonna mess it up when I repeat it. If we live in a society where we tell people to be understanding and accepting of other people's life decisions, why is what that old man said criticized so much? That's on you, Def Note.
Oh shoot, I get to go first.
Oh yeah, you fresh up in the building.
Yeah, I feel that. So the reason why people are criticizing it is because it doesn't go with the mainstream agenda of today. The mainstream agenda of today is, hey, we want to be all inclusive as long as you're only including the people we want you to include. Anybody else who is what we would consider the norm over the past thousands of years, we're not really worried about them. So right now, with the new agenda that's being pushed, until it changes, until that pendulum swings back in the opposite direction, this is what you get. You get people lying over people with their personal beliefs.
All right, next up, and I'm gonna get back in line, y'all. Going to my girl, Miss Embrace the Grace. Where my dog Big at, man? Where Big at?
He's over there guarding the door.
Man, that dog ain't guarding shit. I want to see him before the end of the night, just so you know. Okay. But
He's not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jay.
All right, hold on a second. Let me hello. Oh my god, yes, I love beanies so much. They're my favorite. This one. Hello. Okay. Oh, okay. Hello. Okay, cool. So, I have my this is all mixed up. There we go. All right. So, I'm gonna go. I just want to read a couple of these. Shout out to Shameless. Yes, I totally recommend Shameless. It's such a good show. It is such a good show. Like, for real. Highly recommend it. I would rather see 2 women, amen, but that's just my preference. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, I completely understand. Most people, like, let's be real, would rather see 2 women. It's which is totally fine. You know, I think women in general are just kind of have a more graceful and kind of beautiful, sensual way, or like appearance towards them. You know, we focus a lot of society's view of femininity is our appearance and our beauty. So that just makes sense. Am I in a band? I am in a band. We're small. Our drummer has been away for the past couple months, but he's going to be back next month. So we should be recording some new stuff soon. So I'm looking forward to that. I post my music on this YouTube channel. We only have 1 recorded song, but we do some open mics. And yeah, so let's continue.
He's not wrong. People are allowed to have their opinions and feel how they feel. It's okay to agree to disagree, but to shove a belief and a way of life and a culture to people that just are not having it that's the wrong part. Whatever people do in their personal life and then what they do, that's their business. But to bully us and shove it down our throats to have to accept this, that's where we're wrong. No, he's not wrong. He's a man of God, and he stood up 10 toes down on what he believed in, and now he's frowned upon because he's not a follower. He's a leader, and that's what our pastors and men of Christ of the cloth are supposed to do. I think he did the right thing. He ain't wrong for it, and fuck anybody else who thinks he's wrong. It's okay to agree to disagree and keep it moving.
I don't think he did anything wrong necessarily either. He's totally allowed to have that opinion, especially if he's religious, and you know, that way of living goes against his religious beliefs. That's totally fine. You're allowed to disagree, and he's allowed to voice that. That's fine. I don't understand. It's just funny that they call it bullying. It's like they disagree with something. Because they disagree with something, it's like bullying to them. It's like if they want to feel like they're allowed to disagree, can't other people disagree with them too? Like, everybody's allowed to disagree. I don't know. Honestly, I hear more Republicans talking about gay and trans issues more than Democrat people. Like, literally, they bring it up so much. Nobody will be talking about it, and they bring it up all the time. And like, the LGBTQ community makes up like such a small percentage of society, but it's like the forefront of their political issues for some reason. And it's like, I don't know. I know there's a lot of like Democrats who are very, you know, vocal about it too, but I swear I hear more Republicans bringing it up, like in conversations when it wasn't even brought up in the first place. It's like they're the ones talking about it more.
I like that. Next up, Miss Jane Gypsy. Is she alive over there? And who the hell is in New York traffic? Should have known, a girl from the Bronx. But Jeannie from the block. All right, there we go, Miss Jane. Just look at me. Look, I just don't know why Jane. But Jane, we're gonna have a talk about being on time and being ready.
Yes, I'm wearing the same outfit I wore last night. Don't judge me. I'm late to everywhere I go. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll fire you. But either way, though, let's same question to you. Why is it you know the question you heard?
So I totally believe, like, obviously everyone can have their beliefs and opinions, and especially if you're religious, like, people are not going to be okay with homosexuality, and I think that's fine. The only problem I had with what he said, I think he went about it a pretty decent way. The only problem I would have with what he said is stand up and be a man, and the other thing is, like, it sounds like he's trying to kind of like rally, like, stand up, be a man, like not be okay with it. And the other problem I have with people who say these things too is it seems to come from like a religious, like a place of religion, which feels like you're like pushing your religious beliefs onto other people. So it's just like, obviously, it's like people are pushing like their shit onto you that you don't like, that's not cool. And then, but if you're pushing like your shit back, it's just I just feel like everyone should just like stop pushing your own beliefs on each other and just learn to accept that we're all different and we're not going to agree. But that's obviously really ideal and utopia.
Jane, can I rebuttal something on that real quick?
Oh my God.
Only one rebuttal. So
at least I'm asking permission. So let's not come on, boo.
In Mustard Murdoch face.
What I say?
Jane, just like you said that people rally, just like the LGBTQ rally. Why can't people that go against it rally? I mean, it's their right too.
Because
if
we're
pushing,
for freedom.
hold on, let me finish. If they're pushing their agenda to accept it, why can't people push their agenda to not accept it?
My cat's name is Moo like a cow. She came with that name from the shelter. At first I was like, I thought it was really dumb and I was gonna change it, but then it grew on me and I thought it was really cute. So that's Moo Moo. You'll probably see her a lot in the background of this video.
And is that not okay?
Yeah, like if you're trying to prohibit people from having freedom, I feel like that's something like we wouldn't be okay with people rallying against like Christianity in America or something, right? It'd be like, oh, I'm atheist, so let's get a bunch of people to rally and be like, stop Christianity, tear down the churches, because that's something that I don't believe. When you're prohibiting freedoms, like when you're fighting for freedom, that's something you like protest and rally for. But if you're trying to prevent other people from having freedoms, then that's kind of the line, I think.
I mean, okay, I don't see.
Can I please say something, please?
No.
We are separation of church and state, so religious belief shouldn't be.
Oh my God, man.
Your turn's coming up, buddy.
Okay, I mean, I would agree on that statement about church and state, but I'm because he's a man of God, we're going to use the church and state. But let's take him out. Let's say he's not a pastor. So let's say me and Foxy are against it, and you and Grace are for it. It's like we're not allowed to rally against it. We have to accept the bullshit.
Well, what if I'm against?
It's okay not to accept it.
What if I'm against what you believe in, though?
It's okay, but you see how he's going to be looked frowned upon because he disagreed with this and he walked off the stage. They're not cheering him on; they're frowning upon him.
You're frowning upon. You guys are frowning upon them. So you guys are basically frowning upon, or they're upset because they're frowning upon them for wait, I don't even get it. Like they're frowning upon them and those people are just like, okay, well, we want rights and freedoms and we're here, so we're not gonna hide anymore. I don't see the oh shit, whoops.
Why is what that old man not accepting?
My bad. Where were we? So, yeah.
But that's where it starts.
That we go through that.
Bro, but I mean, so the more y'all push that he stands on something.
Just for the record, y'all. Now, next.
Okay, hold on.
Which Grace?
And the rest of society saying that that's okay.
Man, there's always extremists against what you believe in, though.
It's okay, but you see how he's going to be looked frowned upon because he disagreed with this and he walked off the stage. They're not cheering him on; they're frowning upon him because he's not going along with the program.
But he's going against, like, he's allowed to say that, and they're allowed to be gay. Like that's just how it is. Nobody's getting arrested for any of this. Like everybody's just expressing how they feel.
I mean, true, but you get a lot of flack when we don't go along with the flow. It's like we have to accept it.
Well, I think you only get flack when you try to try to stop it.
Okay, I mean, I can agree with that.
But I totally understand how people go too far with it. Like I do believe that like they're extremists, but that's with everything. They're extremists with every religious group, every movement, there's always extremists.
All right.
True that.
Next up, we have my girl, Miss Foxy. Switch up the rotation a little bit. Miss Foxy, you know the question. You've heard the conversation. Hit me with it.
Can you reiterate for those that are just coming in?
Oh, okay. Foxy forgot the question. All right, here we go, y'all. The question is, I ain't gonna hold it because I forgot what I said too. Pretty much, why is the man that said what he said frowned upon? Man, damn, I don't even remember what the fuck I asked, man. Y'all had got me caught up in this shit. Pretty much, the men opposing what these people are doing is frowned upon. And
Sorry. Sometimes I lose internet when I use StreamYard. I don't know why. Let me get this back up. Oops. Wait, I'm sorry. Do we see Simba wearing Timberlands and tuxedos? That's just so silly. And there actually have been studies that found in certain mammals, there's like a percentage of certain mammals. I think it's like pretty sure it's sheep they did the study with, but they found it in other animals too, like dogs and cats and stuff. That a small percentage of them, like something under 10%, when presented with a female and a male, a percentage of them would still choose the same gender to have sex with, basically, even when given both options. So there's actually like homosexuality in mammals too. And this is nothing new. It's just crazy when people act like this is like some new shit. Oh, I didn't even have the video on the stream. Hold on. Let me rewind it like 5 seconds.
Even in nature, please don't being ostracized.
My comment will make more
time
sense.
error.
No.
I don't think he's being ostracized so much. He's just standing up for something that he feels is not morally right,
Which
and
is
physically right, because it's man and woman. We're not, there's been a great push for a man and woman and make that okay. Again, pushing out religion, even in nature. Please don't come at me with the asexual plants and all that good stuff. When we're talking about species, it's always a male and female species that's reproducing. You don't see Simba wearing high heels outside. So the people who have been brought up with a quote unquote normal way of looking at life, to see things emerge now where you have full blown 6'7" men with heels, a wedding dress on, and makeup, and the rest of society saying that that's okay. So the ones who are seeing it that that's not okay,
like the most extreme.
It's time to listen. That's not okay, right? And yeah, we can agree to disagree on stuff, but certain powers that shouldn't be are making that a very normal thing in life, and it's confusing the very fabric of what that old man's his way of life. That's our grandfather, our grandparents, our fathers. So that in 20, 30 years now, what you see on RuPaul is going to be the normal. You know, some people, when he says, you know, it's time to stand up and be a man, he's rallying for everybody to like, look, pay attention. This is not right. I digress.
It's always been normal. It's always happened. It's just, you know, it's always been a normal thing. If you look back at like Roman, ancient Rome, there are emperors. I think there's one emperor particularly known for having gay lovers. Hadrian, I want to say, someone with an H. His name started with an H. I want to say Hadrian. If you know, you can let me know in the comments. But he had literally like a whole bath dedicated to his male lover of just like statues having gay sex, and it was just like a whole bathhouse or a whole like bath area, like a pool basically in a garden that was dedicated to his gay lover, and he had many gay lovers. Gay sex was pretty normal in throughout all of human history. I don't think it was really until religion started gaining, you know, more popularity, especially in government, within the government, that it started to become something that was like really pushed out. I'm sure there were some even ancient societies that were pretty cruel to gay people, but it's always been happening. It's always been a thing. And from my understanding too, transgenderism, I don't know if there's the correct word for that, but that's always been a thing throughout human history too. Obviously, I don't think they were getting like real surgeries. I don't think that started happening until the 20s. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think they started experimenting with surgeries, gender surgeries in like the 20s maybe, or sometime in the early 1900s. But there have been basically like cross-dressers, or just like men who felt like they were women and women who felt like they were men. I guess like gender dysphoria throughout history.
My bad, Grace. Thank you for that little slight hint. She was like, help me out a little bit. I remember the question because I went back and actually listened to myself repeat it again. So I'm gonna ask it to you, Jane. I mean, not Jane, but Grace. And then we're gonna hit Mustard Murdoch. And we got
My thing is like, it's such a small percentage of people in society. What is the problem? Why is this such a huge topic? There are so many worse people out there. We have murderers, we have pedophiles, we have just terrible people out there. But we want to talk about gay, bi and lesbian and transgender people. That's what we want to complain about. Like, why? There's so many worse groups of people that we could be focusing on, like attacking and figuring out how to fix them, right? But no, we're gonna focus on people who love somebody that other people don't think is morally correct. It's just so silly to me.
PA up in the middle, so I'm gonna go to PA, let him do his intro and all that shit. So pretty much, if we're supposed to be accepting everything, why is the man that's standing up against this being criticized? So go ahead.
That's what I'm.
Which Grace?
You, Grace.
It says even the Egyptians recorded gay sex in the hieroglyphics. Yes, I do believe that's true, and there you go, another good example. We had guinea pigs for a short period growing up, and they were gay. Both males. I'll leave it at that. That is funny. Interesting. But yeah, no, that's it's a thing. It's science, y'all. For some reason, one reason or another. Maybe like when animal populations start getting too high, they start turning gay. Who fucking knows why it is, but it's a thing. I wonder if they see it a lot in dolphins, because dolphins actually like experience pleasure from sex, and they actually have grape, like there will be female dolphins who are basically like gang raped by a group of male dolphins, and she'll experience like distress from it. So I wonder if there's homosexuality within dolphins. I'm gonna look that up.
Embrace up top. I'm sorry. Embrace the
I'm
night.
I'm embrace.
Embrace and grace.
Okay.
Oh, she's over there, and you're.
The pushback he's getting is 100% because he's a man of God. Period. He could have picked any other religion and he would have been accepted because it's any other religion. But once you throw Christianity into the mix,
that is not true.
It's over. And when it comes
people
down to it, to say,
wait, hold on.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I keep pausing so much, but people give Islam people so much shit. People give Jewish people a lot of shit. I don't hear a lot of complaint about like Buddhists and Hinduism, but yeah, no, just no.
Push your beliefs onto me, and I shouldn't push my beliefs onto you. As a Christian, I don't want my kids to sit down at any TV program that I watch and see two men kissing or a man in a dress when I teach them that is absolutely wrong because that's what the Bible says. I don't want to see that.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna hide reality from your children for their entire life so that they become 20 years old and then like learn reality from their friends and they're like confused as fuck, like what is this? Like I don't understand this sheltering so much. Like sheltering your kids isn't a solution. That's not going to stop them from being gay. If your kid's gay, they're going to be fucking gay. If your kid's not gay, showing them gay people is not going to turn them gay. You're attracted to who you're attracted to. In middle school, oh shit, I did it again. In middle school, sometimes there's an age, whether or not you know about gay people or not, where you kind of question your sexuality and you learning about stuff, and you might wonder, but like that's completely normal for everyone, like to just like wonder, like, wow, what is sex? What is gay sex? Am I gay? I don't think so. I mean, sometimes I think girls are pretty, but then you realize like maybe you're not attracted to them. You can just see that they're visually pretty, or maybe you realize you are actually attracted to them, and that makes sense why I've always liked boys and girls. Like you understand what I'm saying? People start questioning things like in middle school and high school, and that's totally normal. But just because your kid like might question it once doesn't mean that they're like turning your kid gay. You're either gay or you're not. You're attracted to who you're attracted to, which is why conversion therapy has such a small percentage of actually working.
Why is what that old man not accepted? What is what he said not accepted?
Primarily because for them to accept what he says is for them to actually accept the word. Now, the thing is this, what we got to remember. We are in a day and age where not everybody is a believer, although majority of the world still believes in a higher power and an afterlife, no matter what the denomination or religion, right? Now, my whole thing, like real quick, even down to like what Jane was saying, like the stopping them or prohibiting people. The fact is that I'm prohibited, and anybody who has a certain line of position, folks are prohibited from saying anything. Listen, people are prohibited from saying a woman is a woman. So let's not even get.
My question: what is prohibiting him from saying that? Is there a law? What's stopping you? You can say whatever the fuck you want, as long as it's not defamation or a hate crime. You're allowed to say whatever you want. So I don't know why these people keep saying that they're prohibited from speaking their beliefs. Just like the man in the video did. He said that. Are you going to get criticism? Sure. But that's what you do when you speak out loud, especially on social media or on a public platform. as a content creator. If you say shit, you're going to get criticism, you're going to get feedback, you're going to get trolls. That's kind of how life works. I don't know, like, what you're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. Other people are allowed to say whatever the fuck they want. Get it? Cool. Because aren't these the groups of people who are always saying too, like, oh, liberals are such snowflakes? And to be clear, I'm not like liberal or Republican or Democratic. Like, I'm just me. I have different beliefs in, like, my political beliefs go like per topic, per issue. I don't follow just one group. So but I commonly see on like Facebook comments and YouTube comments and stuff, like, it tends to be the conservatives and the Republicans making fun of Democrats and liberals for being snowflakes and for speaking politically correct and shit like that. And it's like, I mean, I guess that's kind of what he's complaining about, but it seems like now they're trying to prohibit other people from talking about the things that, you know, go against their religious beliefs.
Started on that, okay?
How are they prohibited?
Hold on, wait 1 second, love. I waited while you talk, right? Okay. And the thing is
Usually
that
he doesn't. He talks over me so
the man didn't
much
stop
most of the
nobody
time.
from nothing. You said it yourself, and we all saw it. He walked out. What he displayed is that he stands on something. That's it. He didn't say shut the show down. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, even while he was talking in this little interview, he said, I'm not here to condemn anybody. I'm just not with it. And see, that's the problem. Now, even down to this whole, like, you know, that whole movement in which they try to get him to stay at, in which, watch this, Jane, that you're defending. You as an actual woman who has actual menstrual cycles and who can actually give birth, right? You defending that is the main reason why those very dudes that he didn't want to stand around, them very dudes is the reason why they taking over everything with women, from y'all sports and everything else. See, women push that stuff and don't even realize how much.
What are they taking over? Like, my life has not been affected by transgender gay people at all. Like, literally in zero ways. I've noticed more unisex bathrooms. I think that's it. Which I think is great anyways, because you always see those, like, single moms or those single dads who feel uncomfortable bringing their daughter or their son into their bathrooms. Also, I just on the bathroom note, they say, like, oh, a trans woman's gonna come into a female bathroom and rape my child. It's like, okay, well, are you worried about, like, a man going into the bathroom and raping your son, or just like, there's no barrier that's actually stopping anybody from going in either bathroom? It's just such a silly idea. It's ridiculous. Also, I think it would be nice if we had it more like how it is in Europe, where we just have single stall bathrooms besides, like, stadiums and large capacity area buildings. I just think it would be nice if we just had, like, instead of having, like, a one room with a bunch of stalls, it just have single stall bathrooms. It's just so much nicer. But I really do not understand this whole fucking bathroom idea. Like, I don't even think I've ever been in a bathroom with a cross-dresser. I can't think of one time I've ever, like, happened to be in a bathroom with a man dressing as a woman, or anyone who's, like, obviously transgendered who has recently transitioned. Like, I can't think of one instance where I've been in a bathroom with someone like that. So where are these people going where this is happening all the time? It's not. It's just, they're just trying to come up with ideas. Yeah, unisex bathrooms. Unisex individual bathrooms do make more sense. Like, also think about this too. We complain about like, oh, they're gonna come into a female bathroom and rape my kid. It's like, dude, the guys literally don't even have stalls for the urinals. They just pull their dicks out in front of each other. Like, how you should be, if anything, you should be scared about grown men going to the bathroom next to your son without any stall. But no, you don't hear about people complaining about that, do you?
It disenfranchises you.
They make up
Like it look,
less than 1%
you
of
really
the
you really
population.
think that you like helping something. Not seriously. The more y'all push that, all of that, my gay friend this and everything else, and you know, and everything that, right? What y'all doing is every time that y'all keep on pushing for these trannies, and when they can say that we really are women and everything else, and now society is to the point where we're not even allowed to say and decipher what is a woman. We had a congresswoman or whatever not too long ago was not even able to say what a woman is. Like, we're not even going to play these games and act like they are taking over y'all shit. Why?
Does anybody know what he's referring to? This congresswoman or whatever who said you're not allowed to say what a woman is? Because usually when these people talk about this shit, they're usually have the narrative very wrong. So I'm just curious because I haven't heard about this.
Because y'all letting them, y'all pushing them to the forefront to take over y'all shit.
Smitty, it was a Supreme Court justice.
Thank you. You know what I'm getting at, bro. You know what I'm talking about. But I mean, so when it comes, I mean, I'm landing it right here. So when it comes to like what y'all pushing out there for that, I get it. Your heart is in the right place as far as, you know, don't bash people, because the fact is that we got to remember women are people pleasers. Women are all about.
It's not about bashing people. It has nothing to do with bashing people at all or pleasing anybody or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that.
Pleasing people. Naturally, as they should, because they're supposed to be the nurturers and everything else, right? So women are people pleasers. So I get that part. But the thing is that what you all are trying to appease is actually being your downfall and your shortcoming when it comes down to the whole bit of it. It's going to set y'all back because you're so worried about making sure somebody's feelings ain't hurt that you're going to set your daughters and all. So now when your daughters is playing with these other people, they son who get to say at 15, standing at about like 5'11" and everything else, like, you know what I'm saying, in the 10th grade playing basketball and everything with your kids and dominating and everything else, then what? Women rights? What?
Oh no.
How do y'all then try to?
First of all, somebody who's 15 wouldn't be able to have transitioned by that point. So that's not going to happen. Second of all, I really don't give a shit if my kid is in gym class and there's some kid who happens to be way better built for fucking oh my god, what's it called? The basketball game where you, I don't know, we'll just say horse. Yeah, I really don't care. Like, gym class, a kid being really good in gym class compared to the other kids, like, that's not really one of my things I'm worried about.
Scream for any type of like reprieve when you are demanding that you be infiltrated. You demand the infiltration.
Demand it.
Nah, come on, man, get out of here with that. I digress. My mic is muted. Back out.
I demand it, guys. Can I say something? Yeah. So I do agree. There are certain things that I fight against, like nobody's gonna take away from me that I'm a woman, and I don't agree with like changing our terminology that we have with each other. I am for like gay and trans people. I am against. If they want to be called what they want to be called, that's fine. But changing what we, the majority, like the vast majority of the population, has been referring to each other, I am against, because like there are things as women that we go through that a trans woman will never go through or experience, and I feel like taking that away is taking away part of our identity and stuff like that. So I am against that 100%. But again, like those people who fight for that are like a very small percentage. when you look at numbers, you have a lot of like gay and
For
trans
now.
people who fight against those people because they make them look crazy. Just like how I'm a feminist and I am against most of the feminists who are like radical feminists because they make the normal feminists look crazy. I mean, you guys probably think I'm so crazy too, but like they're like the man hating, like woman power, blah, blah, blah. Girls that I do not like and I don't consider them feminists. Just like how there's gay and trans people who wouldn't be accepting of those extremist beliefs too, who are like, we have to say birthing person and refer to us, take the word woman away and stuff. So I'm fine with that, but like, I really don't see them making that much of a difference in my life. Nothing has changed in my life. They make up a very, very small percentage of the population. I think it's like under 1 or 2% of people. So, yeah.
But that's where it starts. Today is 1%. Next year it'll be 2%.
This has been going on since the beginning of time. There's actually homosexuality in mammals too. So.
Well, we're not talking about homosexuality. We're talking about transformers. That's something
transgender
totally
people
different.
have been around since history too.
Yeah,
Right?
but
Since,
it's,
like, the
it's
beginning of
out
history.
there more. Doctors are accepting.
Listen, if we stop like preventing it, if we stop making it a big deal, we normalize it, we won't be hearing about it as much. Literally.
Normalize it. That's
if
the
we
point.
stop
I'm
fighting
not trying to
against it-
normalize where somebody who used to be a man can come in a woman's bathroom.
Hold up. What was she about to say? Doctors are accepting what? Doctors are accepting. Okay, she could have gone two ways with this. She could have said, doctors are accepting transgender patients, or doctors are accepting kids starting to transition, which I could see more controversy about the children going through transition at a young time, or at a young age. But I don't know. I'm just curious how that sentence was going to be finished. I don't think she would have said it was hopefully, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and think that she was referring to the latter.
And be with my granddaughter. That's not normal.
These rallies at rallies. Whether you think it's normal or not, it's reality, and it's what is going to happen. You're not going to stop somebody from being who they are. Gender dysphoria is a real thing, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, that's reality. Isn't that what this whole like red pill thing, it's like, it doesn't matter how you feel, it's about reality, what you feel about it doesn't matter. It's like, I mean, that's just kind of how they're acting right now. The bathroom thing.
I mean, where are we drawing the line? When are we going to draw the line?
You're a man.
What?
The woman of the year was a man. So he made woman of the year being a man.
Who gives the woman of the year award?
I don't know, and I don't care. I'm just saying it went to a man.
Wasn't it Bruce Jenner?
The point is, okay, you're such a feminist. What are you fighting for? What rights are you fighting for? What women's rights are you fighting for if you're just going to give it to a man in a dress?
It's not a man in a dress. Like, these people are just
when
so
do we draw the
ignorant.
line? That's all I'm saying.
What rights are they taking? It's so ignorant. A man in a dress is just so ignorant. So I found this. Here is a Billboard. I've heard of them. Pretty popular. 2003. I guess so. This is music. This is for musicians. SZA, I think that's how her name is pronounced. She was Woman of the Year. International Woman of the Year. USA Today Woman of the Year. Honor to Transgender Democrat. Okay, let's see. Maybe this is it. I mean, women no longer have their own dressing room, athletic competitions, or awards. Common sense would define such as an attack on women. All women must do to garner Woman of the Year consideration 2003 is not to be born a woman. Okay, so I guess this is what they're talking about. USA Today, Woman of the Year. Okay, well, it looks like there's multiple Women of the Year. And who the fuck cares about Woman of the Year? Seriously, I've never even known about a Woman of the Year. And there's multiple organizations that give out Women of the Year, so there's multiple Women of the Year. The NCAA gives a Woman of the Year to athletes. I mean, this is just so stupid. These are topics that they would not ever care about until somebody, you know, who goes against their religious beliefs is nominated. With I could see it's just like I could see banning certain sports, certain events.
The line. That's
It's not like.
I mean, when do we draw the line? That's all I'm saying.
What rights are they taking away from me by allowing them to feel how they like be who they want to be?
What rights? You used to be a man, and now you can compete in women's sports.
Is a real thing. The sports thing is something again that I'm on the fence with. I could see it's just like I could see banning certain sports banning. Yeah, for sports, like definitely in competitive sports where it's like people are making money or there's like a competition like the Olympics, I don't think transgender people should be accepted. I don't think that's fair. There might be certain sports that it wouldn't be an issue. I don't know. I would have to think about it. But I think in just like in kind of just for casual sports. I'm just can't think of a word, like non-competition sports. Like I wouldn't mind transgender people being allowed on those teams and stuff. But for like actual like professional level competition, I don't think that would be fair. Trans people, and it's just like that's something you're gonna have to accept. I'm fine with that.
Like, haven't you noticed if you give an inch, they take a mile? Like when it comes down to it, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to sit there and go gung-ho hateful on people. Absolutely not. But there should be, we should be able to stand up and say, you know what, I don't believe this is right and I don't want it in my face. My kids don't need to be hearing about it in school.
And you guys
These
are.
books that they have, these books that they have sexualizing children in school, this is ridiculous.
Okay.
So all because a man wants to.
If they don't want to hear about it, stop making a fuss about it, and they won't have to be rallying and shoving it in your face.
Wear a dress, or a woman wants to pretend to be a man. Now it seems to be okay to put books all about sexuality in school, and let's talk to the kids about it.
So this is the real part. This is the main part of the stream that I wanted to discuss. Yeah, we're getting to the meat and the potatoes, people.
They're kids. Okay, sex doesn't belong out in public, period. Like I shouldn't know what your sexual preference is. I shouldn't know. It shouldn't be shoved down my throat or the throat of.
Sorry, I'm pausing so much, but it's just so funny. Think of all the children's movies, books, plays, just narratives in Disney. It's always a Prince Charming comes and kisses the princess, or he rescues her from a castle, or it's just like always this like romantic love story. Kids know about, it's not sex, but they know about relationships and romance. Like it's just silly that now all of a sudden, because there are some scenes from like older movies and stuff that like today people would look at and be like, whoa, like that's a little. They've made jokes that like are, they're meant for like the parents to understand, that kind of go over the kids' heads, but not until now, like people are complaining about it. And I still have not seen like any children's movies or anything with like gay kids in it and stuff. There's just okay, so we're gonna get onto the gay book subject now.
My children.
Okay, so can we stop like all the Disney movies that are like over romanticized and sexualized? There are very hypersexual and mature content in little kids show. Think about the Little Mermaid, right? She's like half naked, right? Half naked with her hair blowing in the wind, shit like that. Those movies, books, all the time. But now Beauty and the Beast, Belle is literally in love with an animal. That is bestiality, guys. Cancel Beauty and the Beast. That's not normal. It's not normal for a woman to fall in love with a hairy mythological mythology. You know what I'm saying? Creature, mythological creature. That's not normal, guys. Cancel Beauty and the Beast. Since it's like not to a man and a woman, now it's like, oh, also Mulan pretended to be a man to get into the army to fight for her father. Uh-oh. She was pretending to be a man. That's not normal. Cancel Mulan. Cancel Beauty and the Beast. Cancel, what was the first one I said? Ariel, the Little Mermaid. They're sexualizing our children. Now kids are talking about sex. This has always been a thing. Like, and they're not talking about sex. They're not talking to kids about
No,
sex.
they actually have books that with pictures that talk about sex, that actually describe the act in the book.
Do you have an example?
In the school.
I really have not seen any evidence of that. I've like looked into this, but
So
know.
you're
Do you have
gonna
an
argue
example?
your point when you don't have all the information?
no, I'm asking you, do you have an example? Does she not literally just hear that I said I looked into this and I have not found any evidence of this? Let's rewind just one more time. Let's just hear that again.
Describe the act in the book.
Do you have an example?
In the school.
I really
that actually
like, oh, now kids are talking about sex. This has always been a thing. Like, and they're not talking about sex. They're not talking to kids about
No,
sex.
they actually have books that with pictures that talk about sex, that actually describe the act in the book.
Do you have an example?
In the school.
I really have not seen any evidence of that. I've like looked into this, but I have not seen any evidence of that. I've looked into this. What did she say?
So
Do
you're
you have
gonna
an example?
argue your point when you don't have all the information?
No, I'm asking you, do you have an example? Because I've looked into this and I haven't found any evidence of there being books shown in school of sexual content.
Thanks, Jay.
Gay sexual content.
Look, I'll show this after to go to that point.
It's kind of funny because they seem to be arguing a lot of points that they don't have the full information of.
Show this after we go to PA. PA was up next. Then I wanted him to shout out himself and then give his thoughts. And also, I heard something in between. I'm trying my best to stay out of the conversation tonight. With a man being able to identify as a woman, affirmative action for women and minorities. So now a white man that couldn't get a job could say he's a woman now and actually get that job or actually get benefits that he would normally get. So that's taking away rights from other people. But
Okay, so this whole affirmative argument or affirmative action argument, I think is really fucking funny too. Why do they have affirmative action? It's to make sure that they have a certain percentage of minorities in the workplace. So that means that if a company is hiring to meet their affirmative action standard, that means that they have a whole bunch of non-minority people at the workplace. So it makes me laugh when I hear, oh, men and straight people and white people can't get jobs anymore because they hire for affirmative action. Well, if they're hiring for affirmative action, that means that there's a whole lot of white, straight, and male employees already hired that have been hired over the non-white female and LGBT people. So, like, it makes no sense, that argument.
Going to PA, let them know what's up, where to find you at, and give me your thoughts. I can ask you that question again. You need me to ask that question again?
Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, you can ask me the question again, but I have a story to tell about how the lady.
Fucking nobody.
So this stud, man, I was 18 years old, right? This stud, like she looked like
Goodness.
She looked like one of
I'm
she
gonna
was a
skip
stud.
over his
You know,
little
Daisy
sex
he was
story.
I hit a stud. I didn't even know what and everything.
No, it's a goddamn question. Here you go. You ready?
It's not a porno.
I swear every time. Look,
This is a true story, by the way. I'm not making
He
that
does
up.
have a lot
Tell me
of
in the back chat.
sex.
Hey, we know it's true. We know it's true.
Tell me in the back chat, PA. But the question on the table is: did you saw the old man, right?
I didn't see the old man. I was on the train.
All right.
I
Well, pretty
just
much.
got back.
Well, pretty much there was an older man that was, I guess, I don't know if that was RuPaul or whatever it was, but he was around a whole bunch of like trans men, you know, and he was like, "Look, I can't do it. I pray for you. I'm not condemning none of y'all, but I ain't with that bullshit." So the question on the table is: why is somebody that has that?
And listen, in his defense, that is totally okay for him to do that. If that goes against his beliefs, he is totally in his right to not participate, to not participate and to walk off the stage, especially if this is being like publicly broadcasted and he represents a church, he's a pastor, he represents his religion, which is against those ideals. So he's 100% in his right. And honestly, how he worded it was in a pretty decent way. I really do not mind what he said. Like I said in my comment, the only problem I had was like, stand up and be a man, because gay men are men too. So, I mean, that's just how I feel about it. It's just like, it doesn't make you a man. It doesn't make you not a man if you're gay. And there are very masculine gay men, which really bothers me when people believe that all gay guys are super feminized.
A stance like him criticize or condemn for having that stance when it's coming from the same people that say we need to accept other people's beliefs?
Because this is the thing. I think it comes from a deeper belief as with ladies, they have to like I'm not trying to poo-poo on you all, right? But they have to get some type of position of power when
This makes
they
no
don't have any
sense.
position of power because they can't sock a dude and knock him out, right? So with that going forward, they got to sit there and be like, okay, well, you can't sit there and talk about transgender guys because transgender guys are the ones who back us up. And ladies don't really have an army like that. You know what I'm saying? So now the transgender guys back them up, then they just sit there and turn around and start beating them in races, beating women's records when they got a whole dick in between their legs.
What?
And now everything
No,
that they've done
no,
comes
most
home
women
to roost.
are totally
Y'all did that to yourself.
against competing transgender women in
I'm done.
sports.
All right, we got Miss Lena back in the building, but she don't get on camera, so she can't say nothing. But I did want to show something going back to Miss Grace's point, and I know Jane, you said you've never seen this before. I actually ran across this today.
Heard of it? I just haven't found evidence. I've I tried to find these books and I have not found any.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna set the stage for y'all. Pretty much, there was a father that went to a school board meeting, and he was pushing against people pushing that agenda, that LGBTQ agenda, and he decided to read words from a book that's in the library that the kids can actually go and check out. I want you to
school library or the public library?
School library. This is at a school board meeting at the school library, and I want you to see what listen to the response when he started reading like lines out of the book. Here we go.
It says, after a bit, a person's vagina becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After a bit, a person's penis becomes erect, stiff, and larger.
Pastor.
Sometimes a bit of clear fluid that may contain a few sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes it wet.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system?
Bars, bro.
See,
I was thinking the exact same thing. How you gonna have an issue with the hell I'm reading that the kids have access to, but you allow it? You trying to shut me up, bro? Can hypocrite?
I'll read.
I wonder what are they? School kids, elementary, or are they?
It shouldn't matter. That shouldn't be in the school.
I was wondering why that mattered too.
Yeah, I don't think it was. It was like, oh,
Lena, get your ass on camera, Lena.
So much for my chat about.
Don't nobody want to see me.
Yes, they do. Everybody wants to see everybody. There's only one person on this panel that don't have to be seen. There we go. Now, continue.
I look crazy. I really feel okay. Like it wasn't like, oh, she enjoyed it. She came. it was like that's what happens in sex. It will, if you come aroused, it does harden. So I believe, me personally,
The penis becomes erect. White, oh, what they call it? White liquid. Oh, there's a different word they use, but white liquid will appear at the top of the erect penis, and the vaginal region will become moist. Like, like that's not talking about. Nobody's like reading that. Like, oh God.
middle school age, because that's when sex ed is introduced on up
Yes.
into high school.
Yep.
So I don't see any. It's not like it's a romance
And
model.
it's
Romance book. I mean,
it's legally required. Sex ed is legally required in the majority of states. And actually, there are some pretty, if you're going by this standard, there are some pretty inappropriate romance and, romantic novels and books in schools that kids read every day that talk about romantic sexual relationships. They talk about drugs, they talk about sex, they talk about kids breaking, doing crime. Yeah, this is always, they talk about murderers. This has always been a thing. Yeah.
It's telling you what happens during sex. I mean, children have sex ed. I see nothing wrong. Now, if this was in like grade school, then I'd be like, they don't need to know this. What's wrong with you all?
Well, let's say this was high school.
Mhm.
Why did the school board president have an issue with what was being read out of a book that could be checked out of his own library at one of his schools?
Why? Because they already know. Why are you telling adults like, oh, reading this during that meeting? I understand. I don't really have a problem. I'd be like, if he read it, I mean, okay, you try to prove to me that this book shouldn't be in. I would feel like, well, this is what school is for. We're here to teach them what happens. So we're not teaching them, oh, you can come this way or you should be gay. That's the natural human body. That's the response. So if they in middle school, like from 6th grade, that's when I had sex ed on up, I have no problem with it. But yeah, I have a problem with it if it's in grade school, like 3rd graders, 2nd graders, I have a problem with it.
All right. Well,
I looked that one up when I seen that video. I actually researched it and I researched the book. It's for elementary school kids. He's an elementary school father.
It's not.
His child is in the 4th grade. Same as my 9-year-old daughter. In the book, it doesn't just feed information about sex. It actually goes into detail about homosexual sex. It goes into detail. Like this.
Are you referring to this book is gay
worse
book?
than pornography, straight up. Okay, because I did
Worse?
the research.
Worse than pornography.
Yeah, I would be livid if my daughter had that at school. So you can't.
Hold up. That is a very, very, very bold statement. Worse than pornography. These books are worse than pornography. Just let that soak in for a minute. Worse than pornography. So she's saying, pornography would be better for the kids to see than reading those books. Just want to make sure I got that right. Okay. Wow.
It doesn't just feed information about sex. It actually goes into detail about homosexual sex. It goes into detail. Like this.
Are you referring to this book is gay
worse
book?
than pornography, straight up. Okay, because I did the research. And yeah, I would be livid if my daughter had that at school. So we can't teach kids anything about God. Can't teach them moral values.
Well, you have the option to send your child to Christian schools, Catholic schools, homeschooling them. I know some schools allow children to opt out, or allow parents to opt their children out of the evolutionary when science classes teach evolutionary lessons. or lessons about evolution. Sorry, my brain. I know parents are allowed to opt their children out of those particular lessons. So I'm sure parents would be able to opt their children out of sex ed class too, maybe, or at least certain parts of sex ed. I'm sure there's some kind of like waiver that goes home that says like, hey, this is what we're going to be teaching the kids on this week. Are you okay with this? Blah, 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 blah.
This is okay.
And if not, you can keep your kid home from school, honestly, those days. Like, it's not...
It's education.
If it bothers you that bad.
So they're sexualizing our children. You know, so the minor attracted people can, you know, have something to jump at.
Ridiculous.
I see what you're saying, Grace. I agree with you then. If it's like even little kids, I don't believe they should have access to that book. No,
they don't.
But if you know, I agree with the parent. I understand why he's upset. Then you know, he got grade school kids; they shouldn't be learning. They shouldn't have access to it, and I agree. But other stuff like I just maybe I'm more liberal. I feel like if they're in 6th grade on up, I have no problem with them learning about the understanding of sex. Not like, oh, you should do it. No, I'm just saying, okay, you should know that, you know, sex is this. This where kids can come from. It can be dangerous. You're too young for it. You know, I'm more.
You're describing it like a parent. That is not what these books are doing. That's not what they're trying to teach our kids. It's not like a parent. They're not doing it the same.
Can I say something? Parents don't teach you how sex functions. They just tell you like what it is. That I've known, the book that seems to be making a big fuss is called like This Book is Gay book, and it's basically like what the man was reading. It describes like how gay sex works, how it functions. The parent is a parent of an elementary school kid, but the book is for grades 7 through 12. It's a middle school and high school author, but the parent who spoke out about it has a child in elementary school. Also, sexual health education is a state legally like required course for middle school and high school students in 39 states, and 28 out of them mandate that you get HIV education too, and like instructions. They require like instructions to learn about HIV, and these books are exactly like how that man was reading. It describes how sex works, how like the penis functions, how the vagina functions, how children are made. So it's the same thing.
I went through sex education in school, and that's not the same as what I learned at all. At all. We had a picture of a. Hold on, we had a picture. There was a picture, like a big poster of a naked man, and there was another big poster of a naked woman, and it was these are the parts. This is, you know, this is how a woman gets pregnant. This is how STDs are passed on. Like, it didn't need to go into detail like that. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to kids, as a mom, I'm going to tell you right now,
we saw like full-fledged, like up close vaginal pictures, like penises. It wasn't an actual like photograph. It was a drawing. It was a diagram of like a vagina with a penis, and all the kids were laughing. They were like slightly uncomfortable, and it showed like where the ovaries were and how it functions. They talked about like periods and cycles and how like where the sperms go to meet the eggs, and STDs and pregnancies and all of that stuff. Like, that's what you learn about. I think our health class was, I think we had one in 6th grade, and we had one again in high school. I think we had one again in 10th grade, I want to say. Maybe it was a little older. I forget. Because then I also had a selective class or whatever, like one that I picked, that like not everybody had to take. It was like basically kind of like a home ec class, but not really. It was like the class where you get like one of those fake babies for a week that you have to like walk around, and like basically if it doesn't die, you pass. It's kind of like a week-long test, and the baby cries. You have to put like a key in its back and turn it until it's like done crying, and it like records it if you like drop it or like hit it or anything. And you have to feed it and stuff. So I took that class because it looked kind of fun, like those fake babies. It actually was not fun at all. But and in that class we learned about like sex too, and like teen pregnancies and protection. I think they actually gave us, did they give us a condom in that class? They talked about birth control, Plan B, abortions. This was all in high school though, all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure if they gave us a condom or if that was something I read about, like being a big controversy of like health classes giving condoms to kids, to students. I feel like they did give us one though. And I like opened it to look at it because I've never seen a condom before. But anyways, but I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't know. That could have just been like another condom, the first condom I saw somewhere else that I didn't get from school. I'm not sure. But yeah, like sex is talked about. In 5th grade, people were like, a boy was talking about blowjobs and boners, and I didn't know what they were. That was in 5th grade. That was before middle school. And since girls get periods, like I got my period in 4th grade. TMI, guys, sorry, but I got my period. That's like pretty early for females. I was like probably one of the first. So like we're having these discussions and stuff, like, and it's good to talk about. These are things that you should talk about so that kids aren't confused, and to educate kids about the dangers and the consequences for these things, instead of them having to like learn amongst themselves. It's not sexualizing kids. Okay.
They're emotionally, they're not ready for that mentally. Not even a 7th or 8th grader
You have the right
is
to homeschool your
emotionally
child.
ready.
They
Hold
can't
on
even-
for that.
Hold on,
we
what
had
he
a
just
picture
read?
of a, hold on, we had a picture, there was a picture, like a big poster of a naked man, and there was another big poster of a naked woman. And it was, these are the parts, this is, you know, this is how a woman gets pregnant, this is how STDs are passed on. Like, it didn't need to go into detail like that. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to kids, as a mom, I'm gonna tell you right now, they are emotionally, they're not ready for that mentally. Not even a 7th or 8th grader.
You have the right to they're not emotionally ready to learn about the functions of sexual organs. Are you fucking kidding me? In 8th grade? You're 13, 14 years old. Some kids are drinking and smoking weed at that age and having sex. I mean, some of the TV shows and movies that kids watch, like, they know what this shit is. I really think they are underestimating. Especially nowadays, kids with social media and Snapchat and Instagram. I mean, we need to teach kids about this shit. It's not sexualizing them. It's educating them about a reality. Is it unfortunate that young kids have to learn about this shit so early in life? It is. But guess what? Back in the day, people were marrying 13 and 14 years old and getting them pregnant, and there were 15-year-old moms, and that was normal. So we made some progress, at least. This is to help prevent teen pregnancies. I mean, it's not sexualizing kids. And if you're against it, you can homeschool your kid, you can send your kid to a Christian school, you can opt them out from the class.
Emotionally ready.
They can't even wash their ass right.
They're
But
not,
you wanna teach
they're
them how
not
to eat ass.
emotionally ready to handle what sex has to offer, let alone
In
sex in
7th
every
grade?
kind of way, and pornography. That is not okay. That is sexualizing our children.
Well, it's required in
Period. That's
39
what that is.
states, so.
I want to jump in right here, right? So being a parent myself, right, one of the biggest things that most parents are having a problem with is the fact that you're taking the power to decide out of the parents' hands how their children are going to be raised. Now, me, if you want to, I'm going to only speak for myself in this instance.
How are you taking the power?
Or as well as my friends, because we've all had these conversations. But when it comes to our kids, we would rather.
It boggles my mind how much parents think they can like completely control and shelter their kids from the world. You can't shelter your kid forever. I understand you want to raise your kid with certain ideals and morals, But if you raise them with those morals and completely shelter them from what's out there, in my opinion, I think it would make more sense to make them aware of what's out there and then telling them what you believe is right and what's wrong, but just like sheltering them from it, it's not going to work. And kids at school talk, they're going to hear about it. They have social media, they have the internet. This is just, I don't know. If you're really worried about it, homeschool your kids. But I'm telling you right now, sorry, no offense to people. I'm sorry, this is going to offend people. But most of the homeschool kids that I meet are kind of weird. No offense. I did date one, but like he was really weird. Most of the homeschool kids I meet are like really weird. No offense, but not all of them. Just saying. It's because their parents are like super controlling.
Did not learn about the joys of sex or the possible ecstasy that comes with sex or all the other stuff, all the nuance that comes with sex. We prefer them not to learn that in a school setting.
And you
when they talk about
don't.
sex at school, I would prefer
They're
to
not
be,
talking
hey,
about how
this is what
sex
sex is.
feels good.
Scientifically, this is the purpose of sex. You know what I'm saying? Go over that stuff. These are
That's
the
what
body
it
parts. But there's nothing scientific about a man having sex with a man. There's no benefit to us as a species for a man having sex with a man. A man cannot get a man.
From my understanding, they're not talking about gay sex and stuff. They have these books so that gay kids can like check them out and learn about it. But like, and they might like briefly go over it, but they're not like talking about like the euphoric and the pleasure and all of that. I mean, it's sex education. That's all it is. And I highly doubt that like I am assuming that it's just like if they do teach about gay sex or just like gay relationships, it's probably just a small portion of the class. There's probably like a lesson for gay and like transgender, and they just tell kids what it is, how it works, and that's there, and it's normal. So if you're feeling that type of way, that's what it is, by the way. And you're normal. That's totally normal, and that's okay. That's what it is.
And pregnant, a woman cannot get a woman pregnant. The only thing that works scientifically is a man getting a woman pregnant. So I would rather than teach that in school. Don't teach about, hey, how good it feels or anything like that. Teach about the STDs and the problems that come along with sex as well. And then once they get into college, where
Can you imagine just like a teacher being like, yeah, so this is sex ed, kids. So this is how you finger a girl and make her come. Like they're acting like that's what sex ed is. Like
they can go ahead and choose their own majors, their own minors, their own classes in many aspects. Then they can go ahead and go into the nuance and say, you know, they want to talk about the intricacies of sex and everything else. I would rather them not focus on sex during school, middle school, and high school, but rather focus on the education and focus on their futures, because that's where you lay the foundation. So if we're going to sit up here and say we're going to tell them about all the good stuff that comes along with sex outside of having children, then what you do is you start to sexualize our generations more and more. And it's happened in my generation and more.
Who said talking about, you heard him say that, right? Hold on, I'm gonna rewind it real quick.
The intricacies of sex and everything else. I would rather them.
Hold on, let me slow it down to normal speed.
Not focus. No, they want to talk about the intricacies of sex and everything else. I would rather them not focus on sex during school, middle school, and high school, but rather focus on the education and focus on their futures, because that's where you lay the foundation. So if we're going to sit up here and say we're going to tell them about all the good stuff that comes along with sex outside of having children.
So if we're going to sit up here and say, talk about all the good stuff that comes along with sex besides outside of having children,
then what you do is you start to sexualize our generations more and more. And
then what you start to do is sexualize our generations more and more. That's what he said. Remember that.
Happened in my generation and more.
Who said talking
Can
about the pleasure?
Can I say something real quick, please? Please.
Hold on,
Look.
I want Jane to finish her question real quick. Ask her question and then you go right after her.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just real quick, who mentioned the books talking about pleasure? Because like I
I
said,
never said that. I never said that the book mentioned pleasure.
well, you said
I
if
gave
you're
an
going to sit up
example of
here and
things.
talk about the good things, talk about the books that talk about the good things and the ecstasy from sex.
No, I said we are talking about things outside of the natural order, and we're also promoting things like the pleasure or the good things in sex outside of having children.
Promoting it. Should we listen to it one more time?
To the nuance and say, you know, they want to talk about the intricacies of sex and everything else. I would rather them not focus on sex during school, middle school and high school, but rather focus on the education and focus on their futures, because that's where you lay the foundation. So if we're going to sit up here and say we're going to tell them about all the good stuff that comes along with sex outside of having children,
So if we're going to sit up here and say and tell them all the good things that come along with sex outside of having children,
then what you do is you start to sexualize our generations more and more. And it's
Who said
happened in my
that?
generation and more.
Who said talking
Can I
about pleasure?
say something real quick?
And more.
Hold on, let me go back a little bit further because I think
About
he
a
said
purpose of
he was
sex.
specifically talking
You
about
know what
the
I'm saying?
book.
Go over that stuff. These are
That's
the
what it
potty
is.
parts. This is what sex. But there's nothing scientific about a man or all the other stuff, all the nuance that comes with sex. We prefer them not to learn that for our kids. We would rather them not learn about the joys of sex or the possible ecstasy that comes with sex or all the other stuff, all the nuance that comes with sex. We prefer them not to learn that in a school setting. When they talk about sex in school, I would prefer it to be, hey, this is what sex is. Scientifically, this is the purpose of sex. You know what I'm saying? Go over that stuff. These are the potty parts. But there's nothing scientific about a man having sex with a man. There's no benefit to us as a species for a man having sex with a man. A man cannot get a man pregnant. A woman cannot get a woman pregnant. The only thing that works scientifically is a man getting a woman pregnant. So I would rather them teach that in school. Don't teach about, hey, how good it feels or anything like that. Teach about the STDs and the problems that come along with sex as well. And then once they get into college, where they can go ahead and choose their own majors, their own minors, their own classes in many aspects, then they can go ahead and go into the nuance and say, you know, they want to talk about the intricacies of sex and everything else. I would rather them not focus on sex during school, middle school and high school, but rather focus on the education and focus on their futures, because that's where you lay the foundation. So if we're going to sit up here and say we're going to tell them about all the good stuff that comes along with sex outside of having children, then what you do is you start to sexualize our generations more and more. And it's happened in my generation and more.
Who said talking about So he said he would rather in the schools them focus on that. But earlier he did say I'd rather the books not teach this. So he's basically saying he would rather the schools not focus on telling the kids about the pleasures and the ecstasy and the nuances of sex in school outside the scientific factors and making children. So, but yeah, he did say, so we're going to sit up here and tell the kids in school about the ecstasies of sex and like the non-scientific stuff, tell kids about the stuff outside of making babies, then or maybe he was just referring to homosexuality in that particular statement, or maybe he was talking about both. But he did say sit up here and say that we should tell kids about stuff outside of making babies, then we're going to sexualize the generations. And so I was one of the only ones sitting up on the panel, not saying that we should talk about pleasure and stuff, but saying that I'm fine with them talking about gay relationships and the functions of gay sex in school, middle school and high school only.
Can I say something real quick, please?
Oh, fuck, why do I keep doing that?
Why is what that old man not accepting?
Damn it. Hold on, let me go back to where I was.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Not to learn that in a school setting. We're also promoting things like the pleasure or the good things in sex outside of for a man having sex with a man.
I'm going to tell you right now, they're not ready for that mentally.
and everything else. I would rather them not focus on sex during school, middle school, and high school, but rather focus on the education. Tell them is you start to sexualize our generations more and more. And with sex, outside of having children, then what you do is you start to sexualize our generations more and more. And it's happening in my generation and more.
Who said talking
Can I
about pleasure?
can I say something real quick, please? Please.
Hold on.
Look.
I want Jane to finish her question real quick. Ask her question and then you go right after her.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just real quick, who mentioned the books talking about pleasure? Because, like I said,
I never said that. I never said that the book mentioned pleasure.
well, you said if you're going to sit up here and
things.
talk about the good things, talk about the books that talk about the good things and the ecstasy from sex.
No, I said we are talking about things outside of the natural order, and we're also promoting things like the pleasure or the good things in sex outside of having children.
Promoting it? Okay, you said that you would rather the books and the school not talk about that stuff.
Not separate y'all.
Yeah, because they shouldn't. I think that those are conversations.
And
that
I
you should
agree,
have
and
with
they
your
don't.
parents and, yeah,
So he agreed. So he did say that. I know he said I would rather the books not talk about that. And then later he said I would rather the school not focus on that. So I know he said that. So why is he like arguing with me? I said it, and he's like, yeah, because they should. So he does agree that he said that, right? And then he said, if we're going to sit up here and tell kids blah, 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 nobody is sitting up here and telling anyone that kids should be learning about sex in a non-scientific way or a non-realistic way. So that was my point.
Those are things that you should have with your parents. It shouldn't be one of those things where my kid can just go inside of a library and learn and pick up some Zane books or whatever, you know, they're reading the what is the 50 Shades of Grey and all kinds of stuff like that. Not to say that that's available, because I don't know, but I'm saying that I don't want that to be available. I would rather than have the conversations.
There are romantic novels available for kids to read.
Then we can have those stations, because I'm going to know when my child is ready to understand more about sex. I'm not going to teach a 5-year-old about sex positions. Hey, doggy
You
style.
said
This and that.
5 years old.
Okay,
No
10
one
years
said
old,
that.
15 years old. It doesn't matter.
Literally teaching a 5-year-old about sex positions and doggy style, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old. Who the fuck is talking about teaching kids about doggy style? Literally. And then who the fuck said a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old?
Man,
It's 7th grade and up. Yeah, so
you
it's like
can't
14,
stop talking
13,
while
14.
I'm talking. You cannot stop talking while I'm
Because you're
talking.
putting words in my mouth. You can't stop
I'm putting
saying
words in your mouth. I didn't
retarded
even say
shit.
that you said anything. The problem is that you're not listening. That's your
I
hardest.
am
That's
listening.
the
You said
hard-
that. Oh my
Wow,
god.
perfect. That's how we solve that right there.
You know when people use that fucking argument, you're not listening. You're not listening. That is such a cop out argument. You say that to people when you want to trigger them because you don't feel like arguing with them, and it's a way to just win your argument immediately without actually arguing the points that you're talking about. You're not listening.
Let me finish a statement. If you let people finish a statement, you did the same thing with Smitty and everybody else. You did the same thing with Grace. Just listen to what people have to say.
It's really funny though, because every time I talk, somebody will start talking, and then I actually address the point that they asked me instead of finishing my statement, which I guess is my flaw because I'm addressing them. But I kind of figured like that's how a panel works. And if you look at all the other episodes of the show, I get cut off so much. Like people cut me off so many times. All the time. This just for some reason happens to be like the one episode where I'm like cutting in to people, and I feel like I'm not cutting them off. I'm asking them about the points that they're making. Like I'm asking them, like, can you back up that statement, and then you can continue on with your point. Like,
And you won't get triggered by the 1% of
because it's hard to address an entire I don't want to say rant, but an entire like whole just when someone's been talking for 5 minutes, it's hard to address like multiple statements that they've made within the 5 minutes. So I try to address it as they bring it up. Because then at the end I have to go back and like remember what they said and the context, and it's hard. You like forget your point, or you like lose track of how the conversation was going or where he was going. Like, so I try to address it as it comes up. But that's kind of how like a debate works. It's how a panel works.
I say, listen to 100% of what I say. But I'll let you go ahead. I'll go ahead and pause right here. You won't hear the rest of my statement, but obviously you have something you want to say.
Oh my God, that is something. Okay, like I'm gonna be sexist here, but that is so something that like a woman would say. Go ahead. I'm not gonna finish my statement, but you can go ahead and say it. Sorry, I'm being a little harsh, but that's like something. I just feel like that sounds like kind of something like a female would say to like her boyfriend that she's mad at. Okay, I do. Nobody like you're just making these bizarre statements. Like we're talking to sex about 5-year-olds. I literally said it's from 7th grade through 12th grade, and you were saying that we're teaching the kids about the ecstasy and the good parts of sex, which nobody has said. Lena also agreed. We're talking about straight like how sex functions, how it works, not talking about like actual like the scientific part of it. Not talking about the pleasures. Only talking about the scientific. We're not taking away the power from parents because nobody is forcing your kids to go to public school. Now I forget everything else you said. It's just like you're what you said, that if we're gonna sit up here and say that we should do this, it sounds like, you know, we're sitting up here. I'm basically one of the only ones saying that it should be okay. So it sounds like you're putting words in my mouth saying that I'm okay with teaching 5-year-olds about sex positions. That's how it came off. But then you went back and changed it to promoting. So
Okay, let's be very clear. I never alluded to or said anything. Everything I'm saying is for face value. So when I gave the numbers, I even said, when I said, okay, let's say 5 years old, or say 10 years old, or say 15 years old. Either way, it's my child, and I should have the say in dictating when my child gets this information, or what type of information that child gets. So I'm not putting words in your mouth at all. I didn't allude to you say anything or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is, and I started from the very beginning of this whole entire conversation portion. I said, I'm speaking for me and the friends and people I know who have children.
okay, but when we sit up here and say that we should tell kids about you know, the nuances of sex outside of making babies, we are sexualizing the younger generation. He said we are sexualizing the younger generation. And who is the only one saying that we should that it's okay? Well, I never said it's okay to talk about the pleasures of sex, but I said it's okay to inform students in middle school and high school about gay relationships or gay people, trans people, and the function of gay sex. Like not in an erotic way. You don't have to get into like extreme detail. But I'm the only one up here saying that. So when he's saying, when we're up here telling people this, you're sexualizing the generations, he's referring to me. He has to be. He's saying that I'm sexualizing the generations. I'm sexualizing kids. That's what he's saying. That's what he is implying. Maybe he didn't mean it that way, but that's what it implies. When you put your words in a sentence like that, that is what it implies.
Who say the same things. That's what I'm speaking for. Nothing has to do with you, Jane. When I'm talking about this stuff,
that's another cop-out statement. This doesn't have to do with you. You're not listening.
I never said, hey, Jane believes that this and that and so on and so forth. I never said that, never alluded to it.
Oh my God,
I'm saying what I don't want to see. It's a slippery slope, period.
You don't have to say those exact words to imply something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Smitty. Sorry. And who? Oh, Lena want to go next. Lena's next. I'm sorry. Let me introduce me after that.
So coming up as an 80s baby, one thing I was so thankful for throughout my generation, right? We were allowed to just grow up. We didn't have shit shoved in our face. We were allowed to just be kids and decide our own direction.
Too, like
even down to the whole sex ed part. I believe Grace was talking about it.
Like, I would say that growing up, I had a lot of religious beliefs shoved in my face that I didn't agree to. I had a lot of Jesus this, God that, hell this shoved down my throat that I didn't agree to. Even in school a little bit.
whatever. Like, yeah, it's not the same. No, yeah. Like they would like basically let us know like what conception is about, and the female body. That's when I learned about ovaries and uterus and testicles and, just speaking scientific terms, not trying to, so that's
I remember learning about wet dreams. Guys having basically waking up erect and basically like jizzing their pants in their sleep and waking up with an erection. I remember learning about that in 7th grade. I was 12 years old in 7th grade. And guess what? I'm okay, guys. Was it a little uncomfortable and awkward and like, sure. But I remember learning about that because that's the age that boys start experiencing that. And if they start waking up to that shit and they're confused and they might feel like disgusted with themselves or like there's something wrong with them, they need to know what's happening. You can't wait to college to tell a kid about freaking morning wood and wet dreams when it mostly happens to middle schoolers.
when I learned all of that type of stuff, right? Now, mind you, from kindergarten through 12th, right? I only learned that in 8th and 9th. I had sex. I didn't have no sex ed like 10th, 11th, and 12th. But no sex ed from like 1st through 6th and 7th. No, that was just 8th and 9th. Real quick, they just threw it in there. Look, we know right around this time, this is that point. Y'all, ladies, you're developing nipples and breasts and stuff, guys. Everybody got acne. You're starting to figure yourself out. Let us go ahead and just educate you real quick. And you know what they did? They gave us that for the 8th and the 9th grade, and they just sent us on our way. And they let us keep on growing. And guess what? There are plenty of us who grew up to be RuPaul's or whatever. And also those of us who grew up to be thorough men. But guess what? We had the choice to do that. Now, on the last part here, what confuses me about this, but doesn't confuse me because I know what it is. The thing is that, Jane, you got to recognize that it really is truly indoctrination. There is a reason why specifically they all of that, like trannies coming to the school doing like story time. That's for like what, kindergarten through like 3rd or 4th. Why? They try to catch them early. It's a reason why there's a saying that is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Now, let's think about it.
Do you really think about this, okay? Logically, right? Men are supposed to process things logically, right? America is like on the brink, or the world is basically almost on the brink of like a World War III, right? Or at least that's what they're telling us. Do you really think at this time, with a possible World War III, alluding, God, I'm so bad at vocabulary, but with World War III possibly in the horizon, sitting on the horizon, that this is the time when the agenda of the government and the public school indoctrination, this is the time when they want to start indoctrinating kids and trying to convince them to be gay. Isn't the army like having like aren't the reserves like low, like they're trying to like, they need more military and stuff, they're trying to recruit a lot more? Do you really think the gay agenda and the gay indoctrination is something that that the government is going to want to push right now? Like, yeah, there are gay soldiers, of course there are, but like in society, it's typically seen as like the masculine, manly, like guy are the men who want to go into the army and join the army, like generally. So, do you really think that's something they would push? I know there's this like narrative that they're trying to feminize the men so that we can't fight back against our our government and stuff. I think this is bullshit. I think you guys are schizophrenic. Like, look, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so like when I heard that, I was like, that's actually kind of interesting. But like, I really just don't think it makes sense. If anything, I think they would rather just like why are there so many video games that are like really violent? Nobody has a problem with that, first of all. Let's talk about that. But there's all these really violent video games with machine guns and killing people and going to war, and they're gory and brutal. Why do they have that? Because they're trying to convince kids that war is cool, war is fun. I want to grow up and join the army. Yeah. And have like nationalism, and I love my country. I want to sacrifice my life for my country. No disrespect to the military people. Highly respect you guys. Super appreciate what you do. Like, that's amazing. And I do think the army does provide a great it can have great benefits for young men. Teaches discipline and character and respect, all of that. I think it's great. But I think a lot of that is to try to recruit boys to want to join their army and use them to fight their wars and to fight their battles for them. I have a problem with certain wars and fighting certain wars. I'm not cool with, unless it's like something like really like World War II, like obviously shit like that. But like shit like Vietnam, I'm not cool with using our men as pawns for a political game. I think anybody who is going to start a war should have to join it themselves. Anyways, that's a whole different rant. But I just think it's silly that they're trying to get them young and turn these kids gay in young school. Look, my mom's a preschool teacher. I've worked at a preschool. My mom she's worked there for over 20 years. She sees a lot of the kids that she's had in her class when they turn adults. And a lot of them she's met when they've grown up and they turn out to be gay. And she was like, yep, I kind of knew that. I could tell. She can tell. She teaches 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. And she knows then. She can tell that they're gay. Obviously, she's not like telling the parents. It's all just like an assumption. But like when they grow up and she realizes she was right, a 2-year-old isn't like, they can't even talk. They're not deciding to be gay. It's just, this is so schizo. Like, they're turning your kids gay. We had locally at the public library, it wasn't part of the school curriculum, so it was not mandatory. It was voluntary, and I think it was a gay man and a trans woman or something was coming to the library, the public library, to read a book. Not a gay book, not a sex book, just a regular children's book to the kids, so that the kids could meet a gay man and a trans woman and interact with them. And, so when they grow up and they run into a gay person or trans person, they realize they're not confused, or they're not staring at them, or they're not like weirded out. It's like, you're just like normalizing it. It's like, oh yeah, there's a person. So then gay and trans kids, when they're growing up in school, there will be more kids who aren't staring at them, making fun of them and thinking they're weird and being confused by them, or they're not confused themselves. That is the whole point of this. It's not to indoctrinate people. It's not to convince people that they're gay. It's just to make kids understand and be aware and expose people to the reality that there are people like this who exist living among us, and they're normal people, and it's okay. They're fine. Like, oh my God. It just bothers me because there's a lot more worse people that we could be teaching kids to be worried about. like looking for signs of sex traffickers or teaching kids about the signs of pedophiles or grooming. Grooming is a huge one. Not talking to strangers on social media. I can't even tell you how many, like when I look back when I was like 13 and 14, how many guys in their 20s were like talking to me in a flirtatious, romantic way. And me as a 14-year-old, I just saw like, oh, he's an older guy. Like I knew it was like wrong, but I didn't like fully comprehend like how wrong. I just saw like, oh wow, that's a big age difference. But like I talked to them because I thought it was like kind of cool. But now that I'm in my mid-20s, like fuck, ew, like I can't even imagine flirting with a fucking 14, even a kid. I couldn't even imagine like flirting with like a 19, 18-year-old, and I'm not even 30 yet. Like that to me is like creepy. Cuz you have such a different mindset. You know a lot of things that they don't know, and you know the things that they don't know, and it's just weird. So those are the things that I think we should be telling kids to be worried about. Not a man who likes men and a woman who likes woman, or a woman who feels like she feels more like a man. Like that's not really people that I'm concerned about being around my kids.
If they really were trying to be safe about this stuff and everything, I can at least bare minimum understand this. All right, bet. Let's say you had some kind of like letter community awareness course for those 11th grade and like literally, like think about it. Don't you remember how we used to get like work release? Remember that? You didn't get work release when you was in the 5th grade. You got work release right before you was about to graduate. Why? Because that was to help prepare us for going out the door. Let's go ahead and give you a nice little taste of it.
It wasn't called work release, Smitty. Stop trying to use them prison terms.
Right. It was
damn, my bad.
I had a boyfriend in 6th grade. There were people in 5th, and I had crushes in 4th grade. I was like sending love letters to boys. Boys were like telling me they had been in love with me ever since 2nd grade. He had loved me, and he's just telling me now in 4th grade. Like, kids are aware of this shit. And it just because they're aware of love and relationships doesn't mean it's sexual. It doesn't have to be fucking sexual. Telling a kid that some boys are attracted to other boys instead of girls it has nothing to do with sex. Literally. Has nothing to do with sex.
It was
Sweet said work release. I'm sorry, man. I kept hearing.
I ain't gonna lie. Nah. I ain't gonna lie. That was a relapse talk. Nah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Work study. Work study. My bad. All right.
Work release. We're gonna release your ass to go work.
So anyway, so I'm saying like we had work study, but that was later on. Throughout the rest of that, we were allowed to just be kids. And so that's the thing that, and even to what
whether you teach your kids about this stuff or not, they're going to experience puberty. Like I said, you're gonna get wet dreams. Your sons are going to get random boners in middle school. That's gonna happen. So if he doesn't know what's going on, that's gonna be very confusing and possibly traumatizing for him. It's better to tell him what's going on. It doesn't have to be sexual.
note was talking about Jane, like, because I even noticed, like, it's, and I'm just gonna say it, it's people like you with no children who talk like this. You don't like you don't have somebody who you are trying to teach and help mold their mind and have them grow up how you see fit. And then when they come home talking some other stuff, like you don't, I don't think you really get how much that really does mess with a parent's mind. So, you know, I would say too, I mean, I'm not going to say those who don't have kids don't say nothing, but I would say at least tread like
you just did.
You don't have no kids, love. You are not in our shoes and you have no idea what that's like. So I digress. My mic is muted.
Well, next up, we have Miss Lena, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. And whoever was trying to join in, if they could not get in,
Can I please make a super small rebuttal after Lena? Just a super
You have
small.
to get ins on the bigger package.
Can I close the topic, please?
Look, I'm gonna go. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have first here. I want Jane to say her rebuttal real quick. I want
It's super
Lena.
fast.
Yeah, I want Lena to go after that, and then Grace, you can close. Grace, you can close out that one, and I'm gonna show y'all the next one. And Israel's gonna start off after that. Look at that planning. And
Okay,
look,
so-
and somebody gonna have to pay me $35, man. That should cost me $35.59, man.
I just wanted to correct. I think you misunderstood me when I said grades 7 through 12. I didn't mean you're getting sexual education every year. I just meant like at some point between grade 7 through 12, that's when the kids will get that sexual education. It's not like an ongoing thing. So every school is different, but it's going to happen between grades 7 and 12.
I said sexual education. I meant sex education, not sexual education. My bad. Please forgive me. I did not mean to say sexual education. I meant sex education. I'm really bad at like vocabulary and speaking like on the spot. I have anxiety and so yeah.
Also, like I just want to say, I just think it's I understand like you want to teach your kids, and I don't have kids or whatever, but like sheltering your kids like from these ideas, like they're gonna learn about them at some point. I don't think like if anything, talking to them about them will probably like make them feel less confused and like understand. And also this idea of like turning kids gay or turning kids trans, you're not if you're gay, you're gay. If you're straight, you're straight. You can't convince somebody to be gay. You can't like you're not going to turn your kid gay. That's why conversion therapy has such a low percentage rate, because you're attracted to what you're attracted to. You can't tell somebody to be gay and they're going to be gay. Like this is not how that works. That's it.
All right, going
to predictive programming, my dear. Predictive programming.
That's it. Now,
You're
Miss
attracted
Lena,
to who you're attracted to. Like
that's bullshit.
Going to Miss Lena. Going to Miss Lena, and then we're going to Miss Embrace to close out this segment, and then I got to introduce Israel and get to the next one.
Okay. I believe what Death Note says about the pleasure part. I agree with him 100%. However, where we differ is about I don't have a problem. It's not like kids are blind. I don't have a problem. I'm not saying going detail about homosexuality. Like they taught us in 6th grade what homosexuality is, what a lesbian is.
Right.
Also, they
Exactly.
taught us about monogamy. Like, what does monogamy mean? We also learned the risk, and this was in 6th grade. We also learned about protection. I have no problem with children learning what homosexuality is, not like in depth, like, okay, this is what you put it, blah, blah, blah. That's not what I'm saying.
Just that
But I know
exists.
children have
It's
seen two men together or two women together in couples.
Yep.
There are children probably in their class that have 2 gender parents. I don't have a problem, me personally, with them learning about homosexuality, lesbianism, any of that. It's kids themselves that are growing with their own identity process. You know, like they might be gay themselves and they might not know what it is. Like,
Exactly.
oh, now I understand why I like the same. And it seems
Exactly.
weird. 7th grade, come on. We know 6th and 7th grade. I had a crush on a boy in 6th grade. That was normal. And I can understand there's probably someone gay that has a crush on someone the same gender.
I had a 1.5-year relationship in 7th grade. It was the first love of my life. Okay? We didn't have sex, but we were like slightly experimenting. Like I was like, ooh, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. There were no hand jobs. It was nothing like that. We would make out on the couch in our parents' basement. If we heard our parent, we'd quickly like, oh no. We weren't doing anything sexual like that. We were making out. We were like like I remember one time, this is really cringy, this is embarrassing, but okay. One time I was like, can I watch you pee? Because I don't have any brothers or sisters, so I wanted to, like, I didn't understand how like guys peed and stuff, and I like watched him like pee. Like not in a sexual way, just like because I was curious. Like, and I was 12 in 7th grade, like sorry, that's TMI and weird, but like Lena is saying, kids are not blind. They know what is going on at this age. And I knew what sex was. Me and him agreed. We said, if we're still together, we'll wait to have sex until we're 16 years old. We were 12 when we said that. We said we'll wait to have sex until we're 16, until we're old enough and mature enough to do it. So like we knew what sex was. We knew about all that, you know.
There's nothing. Paul know if he like Mike. I mean, come on. I don't think it's completely far-fetched or wrong to teach them what homosexuality is. I'd rather the school teach them than they find out outside of school and from their friends.
All right. Well, final thoughts are going to Miss Embrace the Grace, and then we're gonna move on to the next topic. And Israel, you're gonna lead that one off.
This is about the
Okay,
end
I'm
of
going
the
to close this
stream.
topic with.
We're not going to talk about the next topic because actually I got really triggered, and I had to just take a break, and then I ended up falling asleep. So I actually, I think I answer like the first question of the next topic. So the stream's probably going to be over within the next like 15 minutes. We're rounded it out, guys. We made it through. But I feel better. I do feel a lot better, like being able to talk this through and go over everything again.
Kids at a certain age have mental capacities to grasp certain things. That's why we have R-rated movies, G-rated movies, PG-rated movies, and there are certain things that kids are just too
PG-13. PG-13 movies can get pretty inappropriate. There's usually not nudity and like intense drug use, but like teen movies are pretty intense. You ever see like Degrassi or like shit like that? There's rape in there, there's teen pregnancies, there's cheating, there's girls who are sending nudes, and the whole school sees her nudes. This is
too young to be taught in school. That is the parents' responsibility. I believe what Death Note said about keeping it scientifically, and I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Us parents in our school, we had to fight a class that they were teaching our kids on how to eat ass. Why are we teaching our children how to eat ass? But we took out shop, we took out home economics, we took out things that are necessary for basic life skills, but we rather teach our kids how to eat ass when half of them don't even know how to wash their ass. So come on, guys.
This is okay. If this is true, I agree. You shouldn't be teaching kids how to eat ass, but for some reason, I feel like she's not telling the full story here. Just a guess on my part, but if she is, I agree. That's not really a great lesson to have in school. But isn't there an in-between between telling kids about homosexuality and telling kids about how to eat ass? Or I mean, isn't there a middle between teaching kids how to eat ass and just not teaching kids about homosexuality or sex ed at all? There is an in-between, right? That was my point. Sorry. Like it's just like I feel like these arguments always go to the extreme. Nobody is fighting for the extreme. Nobody's trying to teach 5-year-olds about doggy style positions. Nobody is trying to teach kids how to eat ass and like the details of it's just that's not what we're fighting for. But I do think it's okay to tell kids that homosexuality exists, transgender people exist, and sex ed class, in my opinion, is important and needed. And it is a legally mandated law for at least 38 states.
There is a maturity level of things that need to be taught. I taught my kid about sex, almost everything, because I asked him when you finished your health class.
Don't tell everybody that, Grace. Don't tell everybody.
What did I not go over with you? He was like, Mom, you went over everything. The only thing you missed was blue balls. I said, okay, well, give me a pass. I don't have balls, so I couldn't teach you about that. So it is because parents are becoming lazy. They don't want to teach their children. They want to push it off at the school. And now we have classes on how to eat ass. So I'm sorry. This is why a lot of our kids are lost in the sauce. 7th graders do not have the mental capacity to grasp, to learn about sex. We're planting a seed that too early. And that's how I feel about it. It is a parent's responsibility to teach your children, not the school teachers.
I agree with you, Prince. I got a question though. When they was talking about, were they talking about how to protect yourself doing it? Like, 'cause even though I was in 7th grade,
that's keeping it scientifically.
Oh yeah,
Wait, that happened at your school?
Yeah. Yeah, and we had to fight as parents, the board, talking about why do we have a lesson on how to eat ass?
That's weird.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
no,
It's going too far. It's going too
yeah,
far.
obviously
When are
that's
we
not
going to draw
okay.
the line in the sand? When are we going to stand up for shit like this? Because it must not be going too well, because look at the nature of our kids right about now. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to do a Smitty. I digressed.
Digress. Look,
Digress. Whatever.
Look, y'all, I'm about to have to spend a little bit more money so I can get people up on the panel. So y'all better hit that motherfucking cash app. But we are going.
Hey man, stop trying to spend all my goddamn money.
Hey, look, man, I'm about to have to goddamn. I don't even know how much this shit gonna cost. I bet money I gotta get $100 playing, man, because I got Rob in the bank. Rob, I'm gonna get you up there. You didn't want to say.
I'm looking up. I don't see anything
I'm gonna call
about
back so you can say what you need to say.
people complaining about these
right,
like,
I
ass
bro, man.
eating
I
school lessons. So maybe it was just
Look,
for
I got a
school.
question though.
I don't know.
With I know you was I know you were saying you had to fight the board. Was there people opposing it and fighting for them teaching it? Because you know when I was in 6th grade, I know it sounds weird. They literally taught us how to protect yourself with oral sex on a woman. Like they taught us to use Reynolds wrap, you know, put it over there, and that's how you can protect. I was like, what?
At what grade though, Lena? At what grade?
We were young. We were 6th grade.
That's still too young. Who is a 6th grader should be thinking about having sex? You should be outside riding your bike, playing Manhunt, and having
Like what the learning about sex as the health and reproduction. Drag queens giving high school kids lap dances is out of line and going too far. Like, yeah, no shit. Did anybody like who the fuck is advocating for that? Jane the feminist has no business deciding when it's right to talk to my children about sex. Okay, cool. Well, the legally mandated laws do. So unless you want to homeschool your kid or send them to private school, Christian school, or opt them out from the lesson. My 7th grade teacher taught us how to put a condom by using a banana. Kindergarten teachers talking to kids about kinks and fetishes is insane. Like, where the fuck are these people coming up with this shit? They're just pulling it out of their ass. Seriously, like, holy shit. Did anyone talk about they're not listening. Like the one dude's like, you're not listening. No, you guys clearly are not fucking listening. You're just making shit up because you're so stuck in your fucking ways. You just like have to fight something. Somebody having a reasonable opinion that goes against yours just isn't okay. It's either you know, when you agree with someone, that it just has to be the most extreme, no matter what they say. You don't care. It's just like, nope, you think kindergartners should be talking about fetishes. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Aren't you supposed to be logic and not emotional? Because you seem to be acting out of emotion by not actually like logically processing the words I'm telling you over and over and over and over and over again.
fun, like Smitty said, being a kid.
Looking back, I was glad they taught them because when I was in 7th grade, people were having sex in 7th grade.
Yeah, they should be doing that, but they do, especially with the media nowadays, TV shows.
Hey, no. Hold on. Yes, because I actually know, like, I knew a chick or two that had a kid or something like that, right? The thing is that wasn't like, that was like shit like that. When we heard that was like some extreme, that was like some big time news. That wasn't nothing normal. Nah, man. The other like 98.9% of us or so, nah, man, we were just kids. And that's the thing that I'm basically saying on that is that
so you weren't waking up with wet dreams in 8th grade.
They've robbed us of our child, like when you, I mean, not us. These kids that is going on with now.
You weren't
when you
getting,
do that, you rob these kids of their child.
What do they call it when you get?
You rob them of the opportunities to be able to just really truly explore themselves and learn who they are, just organically and naturally.
All right.
Just let them grow up, and whatever they decide, you know. I have a relative or two that decided that lifestyle. We're around the same age. One of that thrown in their face. They weren't pushed with no agenda. One day, they just showed up at the cookout with their girlfriend, and we just realized what it was. But none of that pushed on nothing. So yeah, I digress. My mic is muted. I don't know if he's talking to me, Jay.
Yeah, here you go, real quick. I'm gonna let Rob. Matter of fact, Rob, wait here. Rob has something on this topic. Look, we gotta move on to the next one, and I gotta introduce Israel and everybody. So here you go, Rob. Say what you had to say real quick, like.
All right, man. I just want to say, I mean, you'll be surprised what kids know, like especially around like when it comes to sex, man. Like, I mean, I can only reflect when I was a kid. Like, I might not know everything about sex, but I felt like I knew enough before they called us sex ed in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, shit, you know, kids know more about sex, you know, just from their home. So, I mean, If we're gonna talk about the problem, let's talk about the whole problem. So it's not just the school system fault. Second off, I would say this, you know, I get, you know, as parents, you know, it could be an issue, you know, we can have our problems. But look, man, it is what it is, man. You know, I look at it as this, you know, you really got a problem with it, what the school system's doing, but what they teaching your kids. Look, man, it's only one thing to really make it happen, make those can make the change. Take it out goddamn school. Start teaching you story you got kids. And the more they see what kids do, they'll try to figure it out. Now they in a hole where they like, no, we ain't got no choice. No kids coming to our school now. So,
all right, well, Rob got that up in there real quick. Like, look, y'all, that one actually brought out a lot more conversation than what I thought it was gonna be. But now we're gonna shift gears a little bit, y'all, because that was only 2 videos, y'all. And we're already about to be at over 2.5 an hour and a half already. So this one might run a little bit longer, y'all, just so y'all know. But before we go to the next one, I want to introduce V Ben Israel. Let the people know what it is. And Rob, also after V gets done, I want you to introduce yourself too. Let them know where to find you at.
The champ is here.
Oh, well, I'm not going to comment on this topic. You know, I got a couple of things to say. I didn't see the video in this age group that we're talking about, so I get what a lot of y'all are saying. But I'm there on social media, and so I'm not going to extend this age group that we're talking about.
For comment, taking God out of the schools, that's the first fuck up. I thought you guys hated people's ideals being shoved down your throats, because that's exactly what it is when you put God in school.
So I get what a lot of y'all are saying, but I think Jay wants to move on, so I'm not going to extend it out.
Where can they find you at?
Find me anywhere on social media, V Ben Israel. You can find me here on YouTube, V Ben Israel, the People's Podcast. I'll let your boy.
And hey, look, you ain't say nothing about my tank top, my new tank top with a pocket.
I said something.
It's very nice. It's a very nice tank top. I noticed it earlier.
You look like you came out of a Mario brick. Like when they hit the bitch and then the mushroom comes out.
He's ready for summer.
I don't understand. Besides
I gotta
that,
start. Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom. Now.
I know how to read.
Kick both of y'all out of here. Now,
technically, is the Lord's name.
So what's your next topic? Because maybe I'll just
drop the next topic, y'all. Next topic. I hope y'all ready.
All right, so we're not finishing out this video because I leave the stream in like within the next 10 minutes. So we're about to be finishing up, but I think I make like one more comment. I'm gonna be selfish and not care about the rest of the show when I'm not in it anymore because I'm the star. Just kidding, but if you guys want to finish out the show, you can go to the JVJ Network channel and watch the rest of it. I'm sure it was very interesting. This actually is it is an interesting topic. I'm kind of actually upset I missed it. So I might go back and watch it myself.
Hope y'all are very attentive. And what did you have something real quick, James, before I played it?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I was talking out loud. Yeah, I was thinking about the OBS. I was gonna ask about OBS, but I don't know what time.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm gonna play with that this weekend because that's what I'll be streaming all the game and stuff off of. But working on that. Y'all ready? Everybody good? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yes.
All right, next one. Here we go, y'all.
Yeah, nigga, rock out.
Be a good woman because it's really hard to be a good woman because there's no market for a good woman.
What?
It's really hard. A lot of men, they say, I want a traditional woman. I want a girl to do all these things for me. But then you have a man that goes on Instagram and then lusts all these half-naked photos. And then when their girl is like, okay, well, maybe this guy likes bikini photos. So then this good girl posts a photo in a bikini. And then it's like, well, I don't want you doing that.
Look at this one. He's a shameful individual.
All right, one more time, y'all. One more time to make sure everybody got that pretty clear.
Really hard to be a good woman because there's no market for a good woman.
What?
It's really hard. A lot of men, they say, I want a traditional woman. I want a girl to do all these things for me. But then you have a man that goes on Instagram and then lusts all these half-naked photos. And then when their girl is like, okay, well, maybe this guy likes bikini photos. So then this good girl posts a photo in a bikini. And then it's like, well, I don't want you doing that.
Look at this one. He's a shameful individual.
All right. So we just had a woman. We just had a woman,
This
or
probably
female, whichever
happened to
way you
her.
want to put it, say that.
I understand what she's
whatever the fuck
saying.
she just said. The question on the table is:
I kind of
Is
have
there
like I can
lack
kind of relate to her a
in the
little
market
bit.
for good women? And I'm gonna figure out a way to bounce this around. So Rob, I see you back there. I'm
Just
getting
on
I'm a cycle
the
everybody.
base of the
So
idea.
Miss Embrace, is there a market for good women today in the date market?
They're very few and far between because modern women and feminism has fucked up the mindset of women. And I kind of believe her that nice girls come last because when you try to be the traditional woman and you try to do the right thing, it's like some men, they're not used to that. They don't know what that is. So they've never seen it before. So they're learning about it. And when they get it, they don't know how to act because they're so used to seeing the Instagram hot models. They're used to seeing girls half naked on Instagram.
They just have
don't
no
even know what lingerie
patience.
is
They
anymore
don't
because
want to
they see
wait
it out in the
around for
streets.
sex anymore.
So
If you don't
yeah, I
sleep
think
with
there
him
is
by the second date.
a market hard for nice traditional women. We not only we got to compete with the other nice traditional women, but we got to compete with the modern women, and it just gets a little bit complicated.
Thank you so much, and thank you
That's
for
what I think.
being here.
So you
I
say there is a
really
market for good
appreciate
women. Okay,
it.
so that goes in
I
contradiction of what
appreciate
she
all the
just said.
support.
I like
Seriously,
that.
thank you so
Death Note,
much.
you're up next. Is there a market for good women?
The stream's about to round out. We're almost
Is Death Note
done.
not there?
He said he wanted in on this one.
He sure did. Get his ass out of here. Rob up next. Rob, is there a market? Yeah, I threw you on the spot, sir.
Oh
Let
yeah,
me know
there
to find you at real
was a
quick, like,
little.
Did you do that already?
There was a
Yes,
topic
Robin.
Hey,
wanted to
yeah,
touch
man. Look,
on, and then
you
we're
know the deal,
gonna
y'all. Sports
You
Talk.
see that big ass head?
finish
You
it
know.
out. This is the last.
Yeah, Sports Talk Rod Tuesday. Follow me on Instagram.
Segment.
Thanks for Robert. That's
It's gonna
it.
be short.
He's caught in the matrix.
All right, well, here, Rob. Question is there a market for good women? And we're talking about dating market.
Oh yeah, I think it is definitely. Just think the problem is, the women that are good women, they get blended in with the hoes. A lot of good women like to hang with the hoes or like to do hoe activity. So it's kind of hard to see which one is legit or which one is sort of street. So and dudes, we just got to be cautious. Do everything we got to do to protect ourselves. Make sure we ain't taking the wrong girl serious. So, but yeah, it's definitely a market for it.
All right, next up, I got my girl, Miss Grace Neary. Is there a market for good girls in the dating market?
Yeah, there is. I mean, guys, men are actually genuinely seeking good women, but
Do they spend money on
girls
them,
are not being taught how to be good women. They're not even being taught how to be a real woman. Their idea of what a woman is what's plastered all over social media. And did she say
There's
something
got to be
about
some guys out
a
here
good
making
girl
all these
posting a picture of a
OnlyFans girls
bikini?
rich.
Because I think that's an oxymoron. Why would you post a picture of you in a bikini for social media for everybody to see if you call yourself a good girl?
Oh wait, this is the subject I wanted to talk on. So let me
a
rewind this real
good
quick.
girl posting a picture of a bikini, even being taught how to be a real woman. Their idea of what a woman is what's plastered all over social media. And did she say something about a good girl posting a picture of a bikini? Because I think that's an oxymoron. Why would you post a picture of you in a bikini for social media for everybody to see if you call yourself a good girl?
She made the comparison.
She already in what she said doesn't even know the definition of what she's talking about.
I think she was a little confused. I'll break that down at the end, but I think she was a little confused because yes, we all heard exactly what you're talking about right there.
But I don't see. Okay, maybe
Hold
I'm
on, it ain't your turn yet, Lee. Goddamn.
I'm sorry. I just got a question. I'm sorry. Guys, I mean, is she posting a picture of a bikini? Is she at the beach? I mean, I don't see that's anything wrong. She could be on vacation. Or am I wrong? I'm sorry, Grace. I don't want to come out as, attacking, but I'm just saying in certain contexts, it's okay to me
Lena's
personally.
so nice.
No, you're good, Lena. But what's the point of posting pictures, especially ones that show that where you have very little on? What's the point of doing that on a social media site if not for attention from other people? And because of social.
So this is what I wanted to talk about. I have a huge problem with what she said here. They just spent an hour talking about sexualizing our kids. Sexualizing our kids. Their brains aren't even ready to handle that stuff. They just let our kids be kids, right? Let the kids be fucking kids, right? I had a Facebook, I think in 8th grade. But even before then, I was taking, I think I had, it wasn't a MySpace, but it was kind of like a MySpace. It was called Bebo. But I do, actually, I still have the Facebook with the pictures on it. I was 13 in 8th grade. And me and my friends were at the beach, and we were taking pictures, doing jumps on the beach, just with our arms around each other on the beach. And I was in a bikini. I had a bikini top on and bikini bottoms. Some pictures I had these real short shorts on. All my friends were in their bikinis, and we were just taking fun pictures. Nothing sexual about it. We had no intentions of looking hot or sexy. We were doing cartwheels and just taking pictures of ourselves with my little point and shoot camera, because I'm a photographer, so I always had a camera on me and I was always taking pictures. My mom, growing up, she was always showing me her photo albums of her teenage years. So she instilled in me taking pictures of my youth and my childhood to look back on and remember. So I always had a camera. I was always taking pictures. So when I was 13, I posted bikini pics on Facebook. Nothing sexual about them at all. I actually did get like one creepy comment from some like random guy who I didn't know. That was before because I had to hide my Facebook from my mom. I didn't know how to put my account on private, which is why I think we should, you know, stop, talk to our kids so they don't have to like hide shit like that, and we can like make sure they're doing social media safe. I didn't have my account on private, so I got like one creepy comment from some guy who I didn't know. But other than that, it was not sexual at all. I was not looking for attention. I used Facebook as basically a photo album. If you go on my Facebook, like I actually made a new Facebook because it's just like so old. I have ex-boyfriends and stuff, so I made a new Facebook like within the past couple years. But I kept my old Facebook because I have all my photos and memories on there from 8th grade and up. And I have albums, and I go back and look at all the silly pictures I took with my friends. Like that's what this age does. We have digital photo albums instead of like regular, like printed out photo albums. So I have a huge problem with her saying that why else would you post a picture of you in a bikini besides wanting to get attention? That I think is more so sexualizing kids than anything. There should be if a 13-year-old girl posts a picture in her bathing suit, you should not be thinking of that as in a sexual way, because she most likely is not. Now, I don't know, like nowadays with like Instagram and TikTok, like all these kids are like I don't know. I still see like kids are kids. Like there were some girls wearing makeup in like 8th grade and stuff, but I don't know. It's just not the same. There should be nothing sexual about a 13-year-old wearing a bikini. Like, unless she's like sticking out her ass and stuff. But that's why you should monitor your kids' social media. Like, you should not let your kids post pictures like that. But that's not what it was for me. If there's just a normal girl on the beach taking selfies with her friends, like there should be nothing sexual about that at all. I just have a huge problem with just like the female body. Anytime it's shown, it's just like automatically sexual. Like anybody who has a problem with mothers breastfeeding in public is just like a fucking pervert to me. Like that is naturally how we feed children. That is not a sex act. If you seriously can't control yourself because a mother has to feed her newborn child, so she has to take her tit out for the baby to feed off of it, if you seriously can't control yourself because of that, you're a fucking pervert. Why should we have to hide the natural ways of human living, like our natural biological ways of human life, because guys can't fucking control themselves and they get turned on anytime they see a nipple? And why do they get turned on anytime they see a nipple? Because we shun and shame the female body so extremely. And this is why that is the sexualization of females. Like, I hate the fact that we make women feel like just ashamed about their bodies, and we turn it into this like it's just like our bodies are just sex that we give to our husband, and our bodies are to give to our husband, and if we're not a virgin, if we have sex, we're degrading ourselves and lessening our value for our husbands. Like, no, fuck that. That is, I'm not saying go out and be a slut and sleep with a bunch of guys, blah, blah, blah. That's not safe. But to shun women for having a natural
like just like a normal, healthy sex life. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm like getting triggered. I just hate it. It's over sex. It's hypersexualizing females. It's gross. It's really gross, honestly. Like, these are our bodies. These are the bodies we're born with. And I understand, like, women can't fucking walk around naked. But it shouldn't be such a big fucking deal. Like, stop shaming women. Stop shunning women for our natural bodies. For being born with our bodies. Just because you can't fucking control your perverted mind.
Social media, and because of all that attention, these young girls they're very entitled and self-centered, and a real woman isn't entitled or self-centered. She's of service to others.
All right, next up, we got Miss Jane Gypsy. Is there a market for good women?
So when I think of market, I think of money. So I don't think people are. So technically, all right.
Let me change it up. Let me change it up for you.
No.
Yeah, let me change it up. Okay. Are men in the market for good women?
Okay, I kind of like my original answer.
Okay, well, go ahead. Go down there.
Okay, so I think rich men are willing to spend money on good women because a lot of them, anyways, can. I just think not all. I think lots of guys really do just want a good woman and they want to be faithful and just like loyal to each other and build something beautiful. But I do think there are a good amount of men too who are willing to invest into a good woman, knowing that he basically is like conquering her and claiming her, and then he's just gonna go sleep with. Or like sleep with all the other girls anyways, especially if it's a one-sided open relationship. Like, I just think that is so silly to like marry a virgin and then knowing that you're still gonna be sleeping with all the hoe girls that you talk about anyways. But I guess that's not the majority of men. So yeah, there's a market for it, but I've always made that out too. Like, guys putting down all the like slutty girls and then they go lust over them on Instagram and send them money on OnlyFans. And my last comment, as far as the beach picture, I do think that in this particular video, she did mean like bikini pics as in like with a sexual intrigue, with an intention like to sexually intrigue. But I also think like we need to stop over sexualizing just regular like pictures, even if like a girl is wearing a bikini. If she's on the beach and she takes a picture with her friend, like it doesn't mean she's like, I think we should stop seeing it as like, oh, she wants attention or oh, she's showing so much. Like if we stop over sexualizing our bodies and again normalizing our bodies, I just feel like there's so much shame attached to especially women's bodies, and I think it puts a lot of I just don't think it's healthy for women to.
Yeah, because they're reading books in the 6th grade about sex.
Oh my God! Stop bringing up the old topics. Look, next up.
But do you see how it all trickles down?
It's a legal law. It's a law
that
has no
connection.
connection. That has zero
Yeah,
connection.
they ain't got shit to do with the school sending these books. Like I said before, they learn this shit in their own household before they learn it from the school system. A lot of parents won't admit that. How many of y'all heard your parents have sex before?
Just me too.
How many of y'all heard your parents have sex before?
That shit is gross.
Nope.
It's gross.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure it's majority of people out here that heard their parents have sex before.
No.
I remember in 8th grade, on the school bus on the way home after school, there were 2 boys that were kind of like poking fun at me. Not like they weren't bullying me. We kind of used to tease each other. My group of girlfriends with their group of against like a group of guy friends, we would like friendly tease each other, and they were laughing. They were like, "Haha, Jane masturbates," and I had no idea what that meant. This was in 8th grade, so I was 14. I was like, "What's masturbate?" And they like wouldn't tell me. So I had to like go home to look it up. Actually, before I got home though, because I was going to my friend's house, I had her older brother was there. He was a few grades older than us. So I like asked him what it meant, and he like kind of explained it to me. And that's how I learned about like masturbation. So like kids are gonna learn about this stuff whether you like it or not. Again, like I learned about what a blowjob was in 5th grade from a male friend of mine who learned it from his own older brother. I used to, and I had an idea of what it was, but it was kind of funny too, because he also taught me about balls. Because when I heard balls before, up until before this point, I had actually thought that when people were talking about balls, they were talking about boobs. because I didn't know guys had balls. So like these are just things that kids are going to learn in their preteen and teen years, whether you like it or not, whether you want to accept it or not. It's something that kids talk about and learn about. So sex education, I think, is very necessary. And it's not sexualizing kids. What is sexualizing kids is assuming that a 13-year-old girl posting a picture in her bikini on Facebook with her friends is trying to get sexual attention. You shouldn't be viewing that as sexual.
No, I BS you not. My parents, one day I never forget. So I got an older sister.
Oh God.
Nah, listen, nah, real quick. I got an older
Skip
sister,
over this.
but the baby Michelle, I was around, yo, I just know that we came in the
Actually, maybe
room
not.
and my parents were laying in the bed, of course, covered and everything, laying in the bed, and they just was like, you got you got a sibling on the way, and that was it. No. All of that being real sexual in front of us and all of that, nope, dead. No, they protected us from that. No, because they let us be kids to the fullest.
Okay, you might be the exception. You might be the exception, but I can guarantee you, when you talk to most people, they'll say as a kid they heard their parents had sex before. So a lot of kids are learning sex in their own household. You know what I'm saying?
And they should learn in their household, not like
No, not the way how we think, not the way where parents sit down and talk to them about sex. I mean, actually just learning in their household. Either, hey, hearing their parents having sex. I don't know, hey, porn in their household. You know what I'm saying? Parents are doing and they want to research it. I don't know, find their dad old magazine. I don't know.
Here's another thing. One of my ex-boyfriends, he accidentally found like channel 99 or whatever, which I guess was like the porn channel back in the day on like cable. And he saw it was like two lesbians, like basically like eating each other out. And he said like he felt something happen with his penis and he was really confused by it, but he liked it. He was 4 years old when that happened. So like, and like that was just something he like thought about throughout his life. He was confused by it. Kids are like going to be exposed to this shit, especially now with the internet, social media, the movies, the TV shows, the music. It's out there. You should talk to your kids about it. You shouldn't expect them to start thinking about sex when they go to college and can pick their own majors. That's crazy.
I don't know any way they'll find sex. Maybe they have siblings, older siblings that might be having sex. They are learning it more in their household versus the school system.
Yeah.
I'm just
doesn't mean they're having sex.
Next up, Mr.
Teaching them about it does not mean they're
Is there a
having it.
market for good women?
Almost definitely. Men have said so and have consistently said so over the course of my lifetime. This is what we want. These are the things what we want. And unfortunately, women focus on the why too much. So they ignore what we're saying and try to create some alternative theories on other things that are unrelated that are happening. But men have consistently said for hundreds of years, here are the things we want. These are the things we want. And that tends to fall into a cooperative woman, a friendly woman. You know, for starters, those are your basis.
All right, so Israel's on board. There is a market for men wanting good women.
Hey, Jay, my bad too. I say the P word. I should say corn.
No, you can say I've seen too many people on YouTube saying that they videos still monetized. So I think we're good. I think we're good.
I do want to kind of go off topic for a quick second. A couple of people we're constantly saying what they are doing in school. I think we need to be clear on who the they is. And unlike most of you except I think PA, I grew up in the 80s in middle school. I actually was in school in 7th and 8th grade in the 80s. It was a different environment because you had a lot of men teachers in schools at that time. But that flipped in the 90s and going forward where things became hypersexualized, but you also have to pay attention who's doing that hypersexualizing. It wasn't men doing it in the schools.
All right, point taken.
What do you think he means there? What is he talking about? There were more male teachers in the 90s, and then when there stopped being male teachers, schools got really sexualized? Does anybody know what he's referring to? If you know what he's referring to, can you please put it in the comments? Is this like some kind of known theory or something? I'm gonna try to look into it. I just have no idea what he's talking about. Like, were the teachers like hot or something? Or were they talking about sex with the kids? Were they hooking up with like the young males? Because I've heard of a lot of, like, my mom told me in the 70s she had like three girls in her grade like ending up marrying her professors after they graduated. Like, it was like a normal thing in the 70s for professors to get with their students. So I'm just curious. And I'm not denying that there are female groomers and female predators and female pedophiles, because there are female rapists. There 100% are, and I think that's actually a topic that needs to be talked about more. Male sexual assault in general, I think, is a topic that needs to be talked about more. I think it's a lot more common than anybody would like to admit or would assume. And it highly affects the male psyche as the same as it does women. It might even affect the male psyche more because there's such this like stigma. And it's also just like not natural. It's not as natural. Yeah. There's a couple YouTubers. There's one YouTuber in particular. I won't name him because I don't know if he wants his shit out here. But he does publicly talk on his channel about something that happened to him when he was a child. And I commend him for talking to his audience about that, because I think there's a lot of guys out there that have gone through a similar experience that really have nowhere to go and nowhere to talk about that stuff because it's not accepted or people laugh about it. When society hears about a man getting raped or assaulted by especially another female, people laugh. They think it's like funny, like it's not possible. Women can definitely sexually take advantage of men. There are situations when men are too drunk, they don't consent. Females will purposely try to get pregnant, or they'll like put holes in the condoms, and guys do that to women too. Actually, to round up the stream, I'm gonna show a video and then I'm gonna say goodnight. While I'm pulling up the video, I'll just play this while I'm pulling up the last video. It's a real short
Next up,
video.
we
It's
got
like 5 minutes long.
Miss Lena, the question on the board. Are you there, girl?
Yes.
All right, she's there. She almost got kicked. Let's see. The question on the board is there a market for good men? I mean, for good women. I'm sorry, for good women. So, are there men looking for good women? Is there a market for that?
I believe there is a market for that, but I don't think that they know completely what a good woman is. I guess they have a market for like a good woman, but I think women themselves get confused. Like, oh, as long as I get a good woman, as long as I'm a good woman, I'm gonna have a man. I think men want more of a complete woman. That's the thing. Yes, can you be a good woman? Can you cook clean? Can you submit? But can you also be a freak in the bed? Can you do this? Can you look like this and be on point every minute? I think men are more in the market for a complete woman, not just a good woman. I think that's where the problem lies in. Because I'm always thinking, oh, as long as I'm a good woman, I guess it's my belief. Now I see that I was wrong.
Hey Lena, what is a complete woman? What is that?
She ain't there no more.
A woman is a woman. We just want peace.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what's the
hold on that one, because I think
She means
Lena's
like the
lost in
best of
basement.
both
I'm gonna let
worlds.
Lena drop down for a second, and I'll get her back up.
Like
when she
a
already in the back chat.
traditional woman who's like kind of a virgin,
Next up,
but
we're
she's
going to
also good
Mr.
in
P.A.
I'm sorry, one second, Jay. I left Grace out of my comment. I think me, Grace, and PA are in the same age group. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out, Grace.
All right. But next up, we're gonna go to PA, and I'm gonna hit you last on this one.
Video.
PA, is there a market for good women? PA, you on mute.
Hold on.
They can't go hat.
I was about to say I need that hat.
I can see you rocking that hat, Jane. PA, hit the unmute button. Oh, he talking to somebody. He in trouble. We skipping PA. We're gonna go to Miss Foxy Moon. Miss Foxy Moon, is there a market for good women?
Yes. Damn, I found it. Okay, go ahead.
Too late, PA. You missed your chance. You come back. You. Go ahead, Foxy.
So, yes, the answer to it in short words, the definition of good, the adjective, is to be desired or approved of, having the qualities required for a particular role. The noun of good is that which is morally right and righteous, a benefit or advantage to someone or something. So we need to be clear when we hear the word good and what does it mean.
Words matter.
I had to study the dictionary, like the Honorable Malcolm X. So you got to know what your words, your nouns, your verbs, your adjectives, your pronouns, your subjugates, and all that good stuff. So when we hear the word good, we automatically think that's somebody who's morally moving around in society, that's not, showing off too much of their body, that's not cussing, drinking, smoking, defiling their body, who wouldn't steal, things of that nature, right? So if you're going to show your body off, that may look like that person is not good. But just as Jane mentioned, if a woman is, and my grandparents, my mother used to take pictures, and they're married. My grandmother was married. May her soul be rested eternally. Is that she used to wear bathing suits at the beach, and they take pictures of her. My grandmother was good.
Yep, I've seen.
There was no
pictures of my
sexualizing
grandmom
those
on
type
the
of pictures.
beach
Those things were having fun. But now what we have is
showing her
social
body.
media, which hypersexualizes certain things. Where once when something was good and innocent is not so anymore. So yeah, the market is still good. It's just whoever's putting into it, whoever's willing to go down that route. It's up to them.
All right.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying
Next
to
up,
find this video.
Mustard Murdoch.
I know I have it.
Please.
Is there a market for good women?
Yes, there is a market for good women. I'll say this though. I actually do get, like, we got to remember, like, everybody is not the best at completely advocating and verbalizing certain things, but I was able to catch what she was trying to say. And I mean, it is true, you know, and the ladies even mentioned it on here too. Like, on that note, as far as you got a lot of dudes that do pay for that. There are, I mean, I got homeboys like that, you know, they actually prefer like that IG model look. They don't want like the girl next door, although she's a cutie pie. They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a real thing.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
But I would say this, no, to what Jane was saying, as far as don't sexualize and stuff
Okay,
just
this
because they're wearing a
video
bathing suit. The
is
fact
like
is, Jane, you got to
8
understand something.
minutes.
When the ladies are on the beach and majority of their body is being shown, tattoos, and navel ring and all, that's the sexualization in itself. Your body being shown is the sexualization. Now, to go right on over next to over here to my lady Foxy. Foxy, when you were saying how your grandmother was dope and everything else, but it wasn't sexualized. Now let's think about it. Back then, because I know exactly what you're saying, because my mother, she used to do ballet dancing, and she used to have to wear the real tight ballet skinny.
Here are the things we.
Man, can you cook?
Is there a market for good women? They can't go ahead.
I was about to say, I need that hat.
On her bathing suit, I can guarantee almost
men as they age. So my whole.
All right, go ahead.
No, you ain't lying about that. Next up, we got my boy Death Note. Been waiting in
All
the
right, so
waiting in
yeah,
the
I
woods.
think that's the
Y'all
last
say
God's
time
gift.
I appear or make a comment. So let's go to now the last video. It's 8 minutes, and then I'm gonna end the stream, guys. And again, thank you so much for being here with me. Come on, mouse. Okay. Here we go. All right, hopefully you guys can hear this audio. Let's see. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear it. I'm gonna look myself. Sorry, hold on. I guess I was like skipping through the video. Hold on. Oh, because this was, I wanted to get to this segment that he talks about. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Why are they laughing? People are... Oh my God. This bothers me so much, the ignorance about sexual... Did you tell her to stop? He's drunk. He woke up with a girl on top. Like, the ignorance is just insane. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She found herself on top of you? No, she didn't find herself there. She put herself there. Wow. Seriously, why would a guy make this up? Thank you. Oh my God. Okay, so you can probably hear me and not the clip. Okay. Ooh. Suspenseful, because I just got mad. Okay. Sorry. 1 second. Okay. I'm getting feisty. Thank you so much for letting me know. I meant to check, and then I totally forgot. Okay, here's the video. I got it. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, got it. Let me share it. Let me share this wonderful informational clip with all of you. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, here we go. Let's start this over. Now that you have all the suspense, I guess I'll play it from the beginning. It's only 11 minutes long.
So
All right, here we go.
it's very easy for men to be like, you mentally abuse me, like he mentally abused me. Like, women are the king of games, bro. From the minute we started this relationship, you was mentally abusing me. So now we're even.
What type of girls do you deal with?
This is what
I'm just.
No, you've had better
like,
experiences.
don't get me wrong. I'm the most empathetic to men's issues. I'm so empathetic. I'm on your side. But like sometimes, like I do think there's some accountability on the guys for the women that you pick.
I love black women.
Okay, and
What did you say? I love black women.
okay, what does that have
What's
to
that got to do with it? I have to coordinate in and around black women, pals. With two different kettles of fish. Yeah, highly likely they're coming from a single parent household themselves. You're coming from a double parent household who stayed together, who's shown the successful work. You're different. Sometimes I look at you and I think, "Raw, how is she a female? Like, do you know what I mean? I think, are you a female? Like, because and in England or America or in the West, because that is just not a normal mindset to have, the one that you have.
Hopefully you can hear now.
The one that I'm talking about in terms of the girls, that's the normal mindset. I'm the BOSS. You can't tell me nothing. You pay the rent. You go on the first date. You still can't tell me nothing in this yard.
It's super common, but I'm telling you, I know a good amount of girls that don't have that mindset. Yeah. And, I'm saying, like, there has to be, I'm with it. Like, I understand the struggles you guys go through, but there has to be some accountability, right? For the men too, when it comes to the type of girls you choose to deal with. Because I'm a big believer, like, as a girl, every situation I've been is my own damn fault. Like, I've been cheated on before, and that was my own fault because I picked him. Like, my fault. So I just think it really is, because if that's who I chose, it's my fault. And I'm just a big believer in, like, the situations you choose to put yourself in.
If you got two children for two quote unquote crazy baby mamas, okay, fine, they're not crazy. But if you've got two children for two women and it's not going the way that you want it to go, then I said, and like Pearl said, maybe look at the women you're choosing, bro.
It's not that it's not going the way I want it to go. I am accommodating them. They're not accommodating me. I'm accommodating them.
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Like, from the okay, my seeds is Like your egg is irrelevant without my seeds. So we are making the kid together. It's not your baby. Yeah?
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
But
cool.
a
Seems
lot of
like the
women
audio's
come with that mentality of it's my baby and
That's true.
you are the father of my baby.
That's because they have the leverage.
Yeah.
By the way, just quick side note, I have been working on for a while now a 2-part series on just pearly things. Basically, I am putting together, I won't give it away, but just calling her out on 2 separate subjects. And I think the videos are going to be really good. I've been putting a lot of time and effort into them. So they're going to be coming out very soon. So if this video is a part of one of the was a part of my research. So if you're interested in that, like, subscribe, stay tuned, because that's I think it's going to be some really good work coming up.
In the court, like the courts back them on this. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
I mean in terms of like the attitude. So it's like it's my baby, but you're
I know,
the father
but
of my
I'm
baby.
saying, like, you could pick girls that don't have this attitude.
Yeah. We all say
No, but I'm just being honest. Like, again, like, it's twice, right? You have two baby moms with 2 different kids. That's 2 families that aren't going to be together.
Yeah.
And like, it has to say something about your ability to pick.
No.
No.
Because I'll tell you why.
Accountability
How many
is a thing, my
women
friend.
how many women leave relationships again? What was the statistic?
70 to 80%. Oh my gosh. No, I'm not.
So I'm not leaving the
She does
relationship.
not think
She's
this
leaving the
way
relationship.
anymore. Were you in a relationship
Yes.
with the second girl?
No. I don't even want to go
Okay,
into why
okay,
as
okay.
to
Okay,
but
first,
I'll bust it.
but again,
I'll
first
bust
one,
it.
first one, I'll give to you, right? First, like, okay, you had nothing to do with it, but
Yeah.
you, it's like, what is the best predictor of future behavior? Past behavior. What?
The second one was an essay.
It was an essay.
There we go. So I didn't agree to have intercourse with her.
What happened? She took your sperm.
No, I was drunk and I was sleeping and I woke up with her on top.
Okay.
Jesus. Yeah, but you still got to finish.
Yeah, that's why I take responsibility for it. But at the end of the day,
Did you tell her to stop?
hell no. No, listen, no, that's no. You can't. No.
You sounded like the women.
No,
This is the
So,
part
okay,
where
you're
I
drunk.
was saying, like, the ignorance. Did you tell her to stop? Like,
You're drunk and you're sleeping, and you wake up with me in you.
Are we dating? Are we just
why does it matter? Why does it matter if you're dating at all? It doesn't fucking matter.
like a
No, we're not dating.
Okay.
So, bro,
You're
you telling me you got an erection while you were
Have
sleeping?
we-
We're not
we-
dating. What do you mean? I like,
Have we hooked up before?
It doesn't matter. It
You've never
literally
hooked up
doesn't
before.
matter.
So the first time you met this girl, you were drunk, and then she found herself on top of you,
And then pregnant?
and then
Yeah.
pregnant at the same time.
Pretty much.
Stop the cap,
No, real stuff. Like I find it very embarrassing.
When you woke up, and she was on top of you, you did not stop. You didn't say, "Oh my god, what are you doing? Get off me!" You said, "Actually, keep going, and I'm gonna go till I finish."
No, as I said, I was drunk. So I'm okay. Yeah, exactly. But you're already on me, and I'm not gonna lie, it's feeling good. You know what I'm trying to say? But it's now after I'm click. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm clicking in now. Wait, hold on a minute.
You're
Hold on.
confused.
Like, how did
You don't realize
like,
what's
wait, what?
happening until
And it's like
after.
after. But me as like,
so you were great.
Did you?
And
Did
you're-
you tell the police?
No, of course no.
Tell the police. Oh my, I fucking hate this shit. What is he gonna do? Especially a man. He's gonna go to the police. Look at how these people are reacting. You think the police are gonna do anything? The ignorance. And Pearl's supposed to be like male self-help, right? And like she's supposed to, the reason she started this was supposedly because she cares about male depression and male self-deletion. But she literally titled a video, "Wow, he was raped," with a shocking face, yet doesn't even fucking believe him.
Well, you know we
So
don't
that was
inform.
great then.
You know we don't inform.
So it's not great if I don't
great.
inform police.
No one said that.
No,
No one said that. Let's not
You,
do that.
you
So what
didn't,
made it
you
not-
didn't stop
It
the
just,
intercourse
the
when
story
you woke
just
up.
sounds
That
kind. I'm
doesn't
just
make sense.
like this
It's a
story.
sketchy story,
I'm
I'm
just
not gonna
being honest. Where it very well could have happened like that, but it's just the story sounding like kind of funny. Like it's
It sounds
kind of, it's like
sketchy, bro,
it
I'm not gonna
sounds
lie.
like it doesn't make. It's not
Basically,
really
we were
you could-
drinking.
it'd be tough for you to claim that happened purely because when you had the opportunity to stop,
Yeah.
you did not.
Yeah, but bro, if it was my choice, I would have put a condom on. Are you not listening? Like, are you,
But-
like,
but-
hold,
I'm not saying it wasn't your choice.
But I'm
man.
saying I'm thinking of the equivalent, right? If a guy I was seeing like that happened to me, right, and I woke up and then I was like, oh yeah, let's keep going, and then we finished, and I say after, oh, I
It's
was
not
raped.
like,
Like I
oh,
think a
yeah,
lot of people would kind of
let's
look at me
keep
funny,
going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I got on top and started riding, right, like and then people be like, how can you say you were
That's
raped if
different
you
from getting on top
finished
and
it?
That's why I didn't answer when he said, "Was I raped?" Because I I was
But you said
violated.
SA though.
I was right. That's what I think it was. It was SA, and it wasn't great. It was SA.
But you enjoyed it. But like that,
I mean, okay, okay, all right. So wait, hold on. You're drunk,
hard for
and
a
I have
guy,
sex with you. Yeah, just because you enjoy it, does that mean that you agree to it?
Well, does she wake up and say stop, like get off me, or does she say oh shit, like and then start riding? Like there's two different. There's two different.
No, you lot are stunting. Because
Oh my God, I
if a
can't
girl says she's
stand
drunk,
her.
yeah, and I had intercourse with her while she was sleeping, that's automatically cancelled, bro. Why are you not even trying to make excuses for the guy, bro? Like I don't care. Like if she did that to me, like I'm drunk enough to.
If you said stop and you like oh shit, like what are you doing? Like
I didn't say what you doing. I didn't say stop. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
And then what?
What do you mean, bro? Don't say like I'm drunk and you're on me riding, bro. Like I like you not make it like
I would keep it the same with a girl. Like I would keep it the same with a girl.
Yeah.
If she was seeing a dude and she was in a situation when they're in bed together, so I'm assuming there's some history, and she wakes up and he
literally just told her they have no history. If a fucking drunk woman woke up with a man inside of her, you're gonna say it's not great because she didn't stop? Like when you're waking up, you're drunk, you're confused. Maybe you don't remember, maybe you thought, like you don't know what's going on, and then you snap out of it eventually and you look back and you're like, whoa, I was raped. That happens to a lot. Like this is totally normal. Like the ignorance about this. Like the only question I have is like she got pregnant from it. So I would be like, is he just trying to say this because he doesn't want to like pay child support? He wants to get out of child support. But like that's not something I would like that's none of my business to bring up to him and publicly just like not believe him. Like if someone's coming and telling you about he's not naming names, he's not like accusing anybody by name. He's sharing something. He seems pretty serious about it. Like the fact that she's using his story for content and titling it to like get attention and clicks and then like not even believing him and like trying to
in her, and if she says
Shameful.
like get off of me, that's one thing. But if she finishes, like then how am I going to say that's not consensual?
Yeah, but then there's no one
not.
witnessing it, so they can easily turn that around if they regret it afterwards. That's the thing that women do.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of issues in the justice system.
People
Like that definitely
freeze
favor
up. Lots of
women. But
rape
I'm saying I'm
victims
keeping a stack with you. I would
freeze
keep it the same a man or a woman.
So you're saying that if I took like we had like drinks or whatever, we're chilling and we go back to mine,
Yeah, especially
and you
if you're
fall to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and you wake up with me on top of you, Pearl. You're like your first thought as a woman anyway is like, "Raw, what are you doing?" Right? But you're talking about a man now.
Mhm.
So right, you can't, bro. I'm not saying she was butters. I didn't say she was not.
Were you planning to do it?
No, otherwise I was planning to have sex with her, but not without a condom on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, she's nice and whatever, but I wanted to have sex
And
with a
you know
condom on
what?
because of my previous. Now, when I'm
actually now with the pregnancy thing too, she might have been trying to get pregnant. She might have known she was ovulating, and that's why she had sex with him while he was sleeping, because she knows that he would have wanted to do it with a condom on when he was conscious and aware. So she could have done that on purpose. That makes sense.
Your actions, though, you consented because you didn't tell her to stop.
exactly. So now I'm drunk now. If I was in my head, level-headed, I would have said get off. Because when I did come around to my head,
You can't, even if he told her to stop, that still doesn't give consent because she had sex with him without a condom, without asking, while he was drunk and sleeping. It sounds easy to just be like, oh, tell her to get off and stop. It's your fault. Like, these people. Pearl wants to talk about the fucking nuances of slavery, but she can't talk about the nuances of sexual assault. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Oh God, I can't wait to release these videos. They're gonna be
I'm like,
good.
what the hell? Like, what are you doing?
We tell women the same thing, right? We say, listen, if you go back to a guy's place, right, and your intention is to have sex, right, and it happens, and then after the fact, now you're saying all of these things. People speculate as to what really happened. They're like, is that really happened? Why'd you go back to his place? Like, what were you doing on the bed with him? What, if you didn't want to do it, why you? We speculate, and that's all we're doing with you because it just sounds a little bit sketchy, bro. That's all.
No, it's not sketchy, bro. I didn't mind having sex with her, but
you just didn't want to do it with a condom,
right? And
So
I'm
then
not,
you could have stopped her before it was
You
time
don't
to
wanna
finish.
do it while
no.
she
You see,
was
this is
asleep or while
the
he
gray
was
area
asleep.
now. So now,
This
okay,
is the grey area.
I'm
Mara.
drunk.
This is the
I
grey
can't. I'm not in control.
If I'm asleep,
I'm not in control.
I
Just
can't
like how women
consent.
say, I'm not in control. I'm not in control because I'm not in my right state of mind
So
to
how
whether or
long?
not I decide whether or not I want to have
All right,
intimacy
so let me
the way
do
you
that.
want
But
to
see,
have it.
when I talk to girls, like I say the same thing, right? I say if I get drunk and rob a store, I'm still liable for robbing that store. If I get
Definitely.
drunk and have sex, like I'm not going to put that on the guy. Personally, I know some girls do, but this is just I'm just keeping it
drunk and asleep.
No. Okay, to rob a store, you don't have to force somebody else to rob a store. To have sex, you have to, somebody else is involved in the equation having sex. You can rob a store by yourself. You can't have sex with somebody without having somebody else involved. So there's consent there. Like, what the fuck? She is so dumb.
Long between you
How did
waking
you get
up?
it up?
Yeah, how long between you waking up, realizing, oh shit, she's on me, to you finishing?
Not very long.
Oh, so it was, oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, not like
Really?
it was like I would say give it 20, 30 seconds, bro.
He's
I'm not
probably,
in my
like,
right state of mind.
blackout
I'm not
drunk.
like I don't like come in.
He's probably really out of it.
I'm not I'm not 1 minute man, but if I'm not prepared, if I'm not in my like frame to hold it out, like, and I'm drunk, I'm not like, do you know what I'm trying to say, bro? I'm
Yeah.
even back the day after, I'm like, did that even happen, bro? Do you know how, you don't understand how drunk I was, bro? Like, I don't like
This all.
Okay, I'm not
this
saying you're
re-
lying.
This
I'm not gonna say you're
reaction
lying.
sounds
It just
very
sounds sketchy. That's all.
authentic.
Okay, I'm gonna take a second to read.
Doesn't sound sketchy at all. The words he's using, how he's describing it, sounds very authentic, and it's kind of funny because when you compare that to Amber Heard's testimony about her sexual assault accusations, totally different. With Amber Heard, that's sketchy. The way she described everything, that shit was sketchy. The way this man is talking, not so sketchy to me. Seems more legit. And why would a man come out and say that? That's not like something that guys want to talk about. It's not something that females want to talk about either, which is something that pisses me off too. Like, oh, females get clout by saying that they're like rape victims, like, but especially men. So yeah, anyways, that's how I'm gonna wrap up the stream. So I'm looking forward to releasing my 2-part series about Pearl. And thank you so much, anybody, for watching, sticking around almost 4 hours now. So if you've just watched part of it or replaying some of it, I appreciate all the support. And yeah, have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Jane Gypsy, the G is spelled with a 6. Peace.